Welcome, teammates, to the Eternal Lessons Show. Man, I'm just so thankful and grateful for the journey of the Eternal Lessons Show. Just thinking back, we started this last year at some point. We had no idea where it was going to go. We knew we wanted to focus on leadership and developing leaders to be more deliberate and impactful because leadership is important. And I think it's my life's work. I'm deeply committed to developing thoughtful and impactful leaders for good. And I'm just thinking about our guest here, and we've already recorded the episode, and we tend to record the introduction prior to having the episode, but in this case, we did the episode prior to the introduction, but read the bio nonetheless. And man, talking to Janina Simmons, who recently retired, by the way, from the Army after serving 15 years. Man, you want to talk about, running through a wall, like listening to her story. And I haven't listened to the podcast recording yet, but I was in the room and I was engaging with Janina, with Nadege, the co-host. And I mean, man, I'm gonna just go ahead and read this bio so you all can go listen to this episode. But you got to listen to this bio. So, Sergeant Major retired Janina Simmons. 3 words that define her currently. She's a history maker. She's a barrier breaker, and she's a cancer fighter. Now I'm just gonna read her bio here, and I won't read it in full, but I'll pull out some things that I think you should know. So Janina was the first Black woman to graduate the U.S. Army Ranger School back in 2019. So you've heard Ranger School before. You know what it is. It's difficult. It's hard. And a while ago, women were not allowed to do it. But in 2019, she was the first Black woman. Other women have succeeded at Ranger School, and we have many now, but still yet, trailblazing. She's also the first female Ranger graduate to reach the rank of Sergeant Major. I mean, that's the highest rank that an enlisted soldier could rise to. And she's the first woman to have a Ranger tab in that position. That's impressive. She also achieved the rank of Sergeant Major at the age of 35, which is pretty young. I mean, that's young. She was fast tracking. That means she was promoted early at every step in her career. And then the Army had a clever idea. They sent her to the Sergeant Major Academy to lead the instructors. So she was pouring in and teaching instructors how to build sergeants major and make them great. That's pretty good. So anyway, in terms of what she's done in the military, she's deployed both to combat and operationally multiple times. And while she did that, she was an ultra marathoner. And when we talk to her, she talks about, morning routines, waking up early. Like, she wakes up at 3 a.m. and she goes on like these 10-mile runs, like at 3 a.m. when everybody else is asleep. Even me, because I wake up a little bit after that, but 3 a.m. that's some boss stuff right there. So Janina was raised in Germany, and you'll hear more about this, but she never classified herself to be an athlete. She said she struggled in that department, but obviously she overcame it. And she enlisted for college money. And when she got in, she figured out that this is something that I want to do. And she pursued it, and other people encouraged her along the way. Now, to the sad part here, but not so sad for Janina and how she's interacting with it, in 2024, she was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. Okay. And those who don't know about cancer, stage 4 is like the last stage you're in. So she has tumors in her lungs, her bones, her abdomen. So cancer has metastasized throughout her entire body. And she is still running. And she made a decision. And you'll hear a little bit about this in the podcast, but I mean, she's making a decision to live the rest of her life, however long that is. If she can control it, it's going to be for a long time, but the doctor says she doesn't have that long. But she's controlling her life moving forward. And I think that's impressive. And just to round this all out, Janina has written a book. She's named it Draw 4, and I hope she sends me a copy. I'll pay for it, but I'm eager to read it. And she talks about her life, and we discuss it a little in the book. And she does public speaking, and I mean, ultimately, what she's interested in right now, outside of scratching off different things on her bucket list, she wants to turn her story into fuel for others that are facing impossible odds. She didn't say struggles or challenge. She said impossible odds. She wants to work with those people. So anyway, Nadege and I, we had this show with Janina. It was great. Even our prep session was funny and great. Janina's a personality. She brings humor. She brings grit, tenacity, all these things in a conversation, and you'll hear it. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go meet Janina Simmons.
Failing is not the problem here. It's when we make those failures permanent, that becomes the problem. So I don't want to hear about only your successes without hearing about your failures. It's a journey forged by crucibles, battles, and messy processes. Here, we honor your pain, then we celebrate your triumph. Your truth is what's inspirational. So welcome to the Eternal Lessons podcast.
So I'm big into music. When I do either treadmill and I go slow, or if I'm on the Stairmaster, I do a lot of YouTube. So I watch a lot of podcasts. I watch running documentaries. What you really go based off feel, because every day you feel different. When I do fast workouts, like if I do interval or stuff like that, it's definitely rap music.
Yeah.
I gotta know if
I got
your walkout song, like if you were Floyd Mayweather, Money Mayweather, you're walking outside.
Cardi B, hello. Cardi B, hello. Period.
Okay.
Point blank, period. Yep.
Okay.
Hello, it's me. I'm here.
No, that's
you
awesome.
are here today. I like it.
Yeah. So when I work out or go on long runs, I tend to listen to motivational compilations. But when I hear what's his name, Eric Thomas pop
I
on,
love him.
man, oh my goodness, who's your favorite motivational speaker?
They're all good.
Cardi
but
B.
Honestly, yeah, like her music is that, but it's still David Goggins, just because I need the motivational stuff is good, but to me, it's too like everybody
Get up,
now. If you
motherfucker, get up.
it has, but it's that real, and I say that because I want motivation when I'm at mile 20. That's when it's like that real. He's like the real. The other motivation's like, oh my god, I don't need all that. Like, motivation is temporary and it sounds good, and everybody now on the internet is a motivational speaker, or everybody's on the podcast and they have the answers to life. So it's still, I don't need motivation up until like a certain point. I'm very self-motivated. So if I do, it'll be like some David Goggins. If I do listen to it though, like inspirational, motivational, it is more so to study. I think I like to internalize. I truly believe like your inside is a reflection of what you let in. So I like to internalize Eric Thomas, David Goggins, Cam Haynes, all these runners. I get all of that. I love to listen, like all the athletes, anybody who's really done something, Kobe Bryant, I do
Ooh.
audiobooks, and then you just internalize and you remember like, oh, that was a good one. And then you kind of take that and you make it your own. So a lot of times when I run, I call it like I study because I just listen. I'm like, ooh, that was good. And then you listen to it again and again and again. Next thing you know, you're speaking it.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
it all just depends.
When
Yeah.
you say that point, you say I don't need it really until I get to that point. Could you describe what that point is? Like, what are you saying to
So,
yourself?
yeah. So I heard this weekend at Cocodona, they call it the portal.
The
So it's like a,
portal.
right. So they call it a point where
Portal.
you're like, I cannot take one more, like, I cannot take one more step. That's when you're done. And then you take one more step. That's when I need motivation. I've done so much. I have, when you do a lot of things, that's why I tell people to continue to do hard things. Your
Yeah.
repertoire of receipts, we could call it the cookie jar, we could call it the rucksack, you could call it whatever you want. When it's so full, you're just picking it out. So if I'm on a run and I'm at mile 24, it's like, you did so many marathons, you're fine. Boom, receipt, receipt. Now, if you're at mile 30, oh, I already done this ultra. Boom, receipt, receipt. Now, when I do 60 miles, like, you did that ultra, you were really hurting, but you did it. Boom, receipt. Now, when you come to a point where you're like, oh, I haven't done anything like this, that's when I would need, like, okay, I need something. And that's where you find whatever motivates you at that time. That's when you're at the portal. You're like, I cannot take one more step, and you take one more
Yeah.
step anyway. So that's why if you've never done hard things, you don't have any reference point. You're like, oh my God, I'm straight. I
Yeah.
can't
That's
run
true
5 miles.
It's true. The
You
brain,
need
like
receipts, the brain.
the brain teaches you. The Duke basketball women's coach, she said,
Hmm.
handle hard better. Every
Period.
opportunity of doing hard things teaches you to handle the next harder thing because you're handling hard better. And that sounds like you have
It's never
trained
going to get
yourself
easier.
to
It's
handle
never going
hard
to get
better.
easier. And hard is relative because they're talking about basketball, but that's really for anything. When you're in the military and you're doing all these hard things, eventually you're going to retire, but life is not going to get easier
Right.
because now you got kids. Now you're older, so now your parents are older. So now you have, unfortunately, dying parents. So now you have to juggle all these things. It's not going to get easier. Now you're getting older. Now you got menopause. Now you might be
Ooh,
diagnosed with
girl, the
something.
devil. We're not talking about that one today.
But
Yeah.
I'm just saying, so it's never going to get easier. So
What's in the
handle hard
portal?
better.
What's in the
Huh?
portal? Like, what's in there? What would you
So
define
what's
to
in
be?
there? Oh, wow. So I don't think that I've ever been to the portal. I think I think maybe in ranger school, I kind of eyed it, but I don't think I've ever been to the portal. And I think I would love if I get into Cocodona because I'm definitely going to be in the portal probably a few
When you get
times.
to Cocodona.
When I get to Cocodona, because for me, I've done so much, it would have to be something like that is just like hard.
So Janina,
Like,
I mean,
uh-huh.
we before this we read your bio and we're listing
Mm-hmm.
out all these
Mm-hmm.
things that you've done, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, as I'm listening to you, like, you got to go to the portal. I'm like, well, she's
Mm-hmm.
been to the portal quite a few
No,
times.
I
You
Yes.
didn't.
telling me you ain't
No,
been
I
to the
don't.
portal?
I've done some hard things, and I had to ask myself, like, but I was never like, I never was threw them up and was like, I cannot. Like,
Yeah.
I've been right there. Ranger school, you got to realize, and I can only speak for myself. When you sign up for something so hard, nobody told me to do it. If somebody else tells you to do it, that's not good enough. I probably would have quit week 1 because
Oh,
I didn't. I was like, oh, somebody send me. I don't like it here. Let me go. But my why was so strong. It was so strong that at no point in Ranger School, no matter how hard it was, I didn't think about quitting not one time. Now, did it suck? Yes. Was I sorry for myself? Absolutely. But I wasn't like, you know what? I can't do it. I want to quit. It wasn't, there's something in me where I'm like, you signed up, you knew what it was, so deal with it. So I'm always able to kind of just get those feelings out. So I've never been to the portal. I've done a ultra marathons where I was like this, but if there's a mileage marker and you signed up for it, and let's say you're, I don't know, however many miles away or hours away from that goal, there's no way I'm stopping. Like that to me would be, if unless I break a leg, I'm just not that way. So I haven't made it to the portal yet, but I want to go.
she said, I
I'm
want to
looking.
go. I want to
I
go.
want to go to the portal. Like Cocodona, I'm not going there to. I'm not winning. I'm. I was there with the winner, but I'm an average Joe in this ultra world. I want to go there. I want to go to the portal and see when I'm just dead. What does my mind like when I'm dead? Not like hurting, but when I'm like in the rut, my feet are full of blisters, my legs are shot, and I got 80 more miles.
Ooh.
What does my mind do? Where do I want to know where I go? If I could be like, you know what? You signed up for it. Like, if can I pull like receipts or what is it going to take me to be like, you know what, you're going to keep going? I want to know what I truly do when it's like so hard. I want to go to the
Janine,
portal.
this is wild to me, and I think we can like jump into your current diagnosis that you're wrestling
Hmm.
with, because
Yeah.
I think for me, if and I don't have stage 4 cancer, but if I was told I had stage, I'm in the portal. That's the
Oh,
Uh,
I
immediate
would have
glance.
gone
Put me in the
beyond the
portal.
portal, Sean. I would have been like in the
Yeah.
portal and then portal 2.0, whatever that follows.
no, so we can talk about so yeah. So when I found out, you could maybe that was a little portal moment, but it was more. It was a lot. It was when
Mm.
so when I heard I had stage 4 cancer, I promise you, and I tell people this and they don't believe me. I didn't hear it. Like she said, you have some masses, and it because nobody in my family has cancer. I'm the healthiest one out of my mom's and my. There's in my mind, I'm Ranger like sure whatever, we'll do
Right.
some scans, it'll be, but like it's just not me. So then when it finally was boom, stage 4, it's everywhere. That whole week I cried, I felt sorry for myself, I thought I was dying. But then I went back, I was like, okay, well, you're not dead yet, so keep doing what you're not hurting. And I have these mechanisms to deal with stuff like you're not dying, you're not hurting, somebody else has it worse. And then I was kind of to move on. And then when that happened, I like to plan, I like to know. So I started researching, okay, what is this? How long can you live with it? And versus settling on I have cancer, I'm dying, it's non-curable. I'm like, oh no, like I'm more so, all right, start your bucket list. Um, and it's hard to explain, and it comes in waves, it definitely comes in waves.
Hmm.
It is definitely very sad, don't get me wrong. Like, so I think I talked to my buddy about it 2 weeks ago. And I'm going to reference Cocodona a lot because it just happened.
Hmm.
That whole week was amazing. The whole week was something I've never experienced. It was so fun, the people were amazing, I had so much fun. But I could argue was almost also the saddest week that I've had in a long time. Why? Because when I was there, I was like, I want to do this forever. Like, I want to do this until I'm 90. And then it hits you like, you're not going to be 90. And that's when it's like, ugh. Like, I had so much fun. But then when I was calling my buddy Randy, like, I cried because it was just like, I want to live. Like I want to live. And
Yeah.
I was like, man, like I hope I make it to 40. So those are those things. I can't call it a portal. It's just a hard thing you have to balance. Um,
Let me ask you
but
this.
mhm.
Is it a balance that you have come to achieve, or is it that you've made peace with it, or is it that, or what is it? Because I'm very intrigued by the fact that you said, in a week I was in the pits, right? In like the mini portal. But then you chose to get up and you chose to reframe. And so I
Mhm.
guess it's a two-parter. Was
Mhm.
it that you yourself were you like you're Ranger Simmons, that you came to
Mhm.
peace, or that you decided to balance?
I think it's both, and truly, I think it depends on the day. I'm a realist, and we're not going to talk about God in the sense of, oh, God is good. God is the best. We're not going to do, but people die every day, and what people think, I think people think that they're beyond, like, oh, that would, and you know what? Arguably, I probably was the same, like, oh, cancer. Like, I never thought about it, but in my mind, it was
Yeah.
probably, oh, I'll never get cancer. Like, but you will. So it's this whole God is good, he is phenomenal, but we're not going to talk, people die all the time, so that's that. I'm a realist, and we could talk about doctors and statistics. According to statistics, if I make it 5 years, that is long, that people don't make it that long. In
Hmm.
my mind, I might make it 10, 15, but in 2 years it could be like, hey, you got 6 months. So there is a realization that I try to work through every day, like, hey, this is your reality. And that is truly why I have a bucket list. It's not to like, oh, I have a bucket, like it's not fun to have a bucket list. But
Oh.
you, in life, you always have options. You either you mope, I tell Toya this all the time. Either you do or you don't, and that goes for everything. Either I'm over here and I'm sad and when, or I'm still gonna be sad, but I just do. I do my bucket list. I go have fun, spend time with either it's this one or it's that one. So I think the funner option is to be over here. That doesn't mean the other option is not still somewhere in here, but you'd have to work through that. Um, and
Yeah.
it's hard. It's like I said, I was in Cocodona, I was having fun, and then all of a sudden I'm sad because it's like I want to do this, but I potentially can't. So it's very waveformish. I'm grateful that everything that I've done, when we talk about like ranger school, it's
Hmm.
not just this whoo whoo, you get a tab and all the things that people think it is. It's more of what it did for me. And it built this mind where it's like, I truly believe I'm unbreakable. There's nothing you could do to me that's going to make me quiver. There's just not. There's nothing you could say to me. I've been bullied all my life. There's nothing you can say to me. There's no physical pain unless it's like a Saw movie and you cut off my leg. There's no physical pain. No, I'm being so serious.
No, I
Unless
get it.
it's that, hey Jay, today go you have to walk 100 miles. I'd be like, okay, let's go. You see what I'm saying? So there's
Yes.
nothing, but those tools allow me to work through the cancer because I'm mentally tough to say, hey, it has to be somebody. It's you. You're still here. You're not in pain. Like figure it out. And I just have to do. It's a conscious choice every day. A lot of times I'm like, ugh, and woe is me, but it doesn't take over my life. I won't allow it to, because God is that good that I can still do what I love while having this. There's a child somewhere right now who it literally is dying, and
Yeah.
I always keep that in the back of my mind. I'm so grateful that it's not me yet. God willing, I got 20, 30 years. We don't know. So I truly just want to live, have fun. Fun is relative because I'm always going to do hard things. People tell me to sit down, like, why are you getting your doctorate? And that's just not me. I'm still want to live like I have a full life. And if I didn't know I was dying, I would still go get my doctorate. So why wouldn't I do it now? Like
Right.
fun is
Right.
relative. Like, I talk about working out 4 hours a day. Somebody's like, oh, go chill out. To me, that's fun. I still want to progress in life. What else would I do? Just sit on the couch and watch Netflix? That to me doesn't sound like fun. Um, so it's a very, I don't even know how to explain it. Like it just comes in waves. Some days are good, some days are sad. They're not bad. I don't have bad days. They're sad, like, oh, and but at the same time, like, what can you truly do about it? Nothing. You can just live,
Can you
and
think
that's all you
about
can do.
can you think about your saddest moment that you've had?
Like, cancer wise, or just period?
I mean either or. Like I mean we're on the subject of cancer, so
Yeah,
maybe
yeah, yeah. The saddest moment was probably so again, so when I found out, had the week, mopey, kind of got over it. I think when I came to El Paso for the Sergeant Major's Academy, that's when they said it spread to my lungs and my heart. And that's when I was like, oh, I'm dying. Like, if it's
Yeah.
already all over, we're at the point where we're going to cancel Christmas. So I started watching a lot of NDEs, near death experiences, because again, I'm a planner by nature. So I want to know if it does come to that side of everything, where am I going? And we're not going to
Yeah.
talk about like hell and not all that, but like, afterlife. And I just want to hear people's experience. I believe in it. Truthfully, I
I believe in
really
it.
do.
Yeah.
So that kind of gave me some peace. But the saddest moment for me, while I'm thinking about all these things and going through it, is, and I don't think the saddest moment has happened yet, but when I think about it, it is when because I talked to one of my friends. Unfortunately, her brother died, and she shared with me like how they were all there. He wanted like a little party to like say bye, and they were all there, and he was in the bed. That sounds devastating.
Yeah.
That sounds devastating, and I think that will be just heartbreaking for everybody.
Yeah.
But I feel like that is something that it's actually going to happen. And that to me is going to be um gut wrenching. That's future. The saddest part of this whole journey is when my mom is not like me. She's been through a lot, but she is very spirally. She spirals a lot. She
Hmm.
internalizes a lot. Even if I'm like, I'm good, I'm great. In her mind, her daughter's like dying. Um, the saddest part was when she told me, she's like, Janina, I want to die before you. I can't take it. That is, I didn't know what to say. Like that
Yeah.
truly was what people don't realize with cancer is that it's burdensome, but it's having to be strong so you don't burden your people. That's what's really hard. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like I'm good, and I don't mean that like, oh, I'm good and I'm trying to hide my pain. Like the way I am good. Like I'm just different. I'm different than a lot of people because I've done a lot of things. But having Gabby or my mom or Toya is very strong, but she's very gooey at heart. Like my mentor, like when they cry when we talk
Yeah.
about these things, that's when I'm like, ugh. Like that's when it's like,
Yeah.
that's when it hurts the most. Not when I think about, like, oh, am I dying? That doesn't really bother me. But thinking about the people or the people
Yeah.
you eventually leave behind is devastating. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of.
Yeah,
I couldn't imagine.
given that this is the eternal lesson show and we're trying to pull out as many lessons from you as possible, I'm thinking I feel like I'm dying. I don't have cancer, but every day that elapses, I'm getting older and I'm expiring.
100%. 100%.
And sometimes I feel like I don't take advantage of what I have and
A
live
lot
to
of people don't.
right, but someone that's told you don't have long, it
Hmm.
changes the calculus. So, what do you say to people like me? What do you say to people that don't have cancer and you're dying? Like we're all dying.
Right,
What a great.
right.
What do you say?
Honestly, I don't think there is anything that I could say just because unless you experience it, it just does not affect you the same. Unless, we hear about kids dying all the time. Unless
Yeah.
it is your child, we read it and we're like, oh my God, that's so sad. And you're going to keep scrolling unless
Right.
it is your pet that passed away, your parent, or you're the one that lost the job, whatever. Unless it is you or somebody in your immediate you won't feel it. You just I can't. I could sit here all day and say, because that is my messaging. Like, don't wait. Like, stop worrying about Instagram followers. Stop worrying about NCOER. Like all the stuff that does not anything that you're not taking to if you're on your deathbed, just imagine you're on your deathbed. What do you think you're going to think about? And if right now those things that you think you're going to think about, then they're irrelevant, and that's just a fact.
That's
I'm
it.
going to I'm
That's
going to
the
be on my
lesson.
deathbed.
That's it.
That's the lesson. I'm going to be on my deathbed and be like, "You know what? How much money did I have in my account? I don't care. I don't care. You
Not
know
take
what?
it. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
let me check my
Don't care.
Instagram real quick. Let me see if I got these men. I don't care. So if you can put yourself in that and say, you know what, I wouldn't care about that, then don't care about it. Period. Like just let it do its thing. If you're on your deathbed and like, man, my mom, whatever, then that's where you need to put your time right now. On my deathbed, I'll be like, man, Gabby, this, my pets, my parent, whatever, then that's what matters right now. You can't take it with you. Oh, my car. What car? Nobody cares. It's probably on the lot
Yeah.
somewhere and got sold for, so, but that's what people, unless it's you, unless you have an epiphany, because I felt this way before cancer. Because that's why I struggle with the diagnosis, because I'm doing the same thing right now that I did before. I was already living the lemon was being squeezed out.
Yeah.
So what would I say? Put yourself on that deathbed, and if you're worried about something right now that you're not going to worry about on that bed, then it truly, truly does not matter. Oh, they're saying this about me. Who are they going to be in the hospital room with you? They're not. So don't stop. Like, so, but a lot of people, they won't. I will argue that somebody like me who got the diagnosis, on the contrary, it's a crisis. It's but it's also a blessing, because I have a way now that I live is so free. Like, I promise you, I don't care. Like before, I was like, I don't care. The haters. Right now, I do
Unfiltered,
not.
uncensored.
Oh, on everything. Like, because I have, so if I have people saying something on the internet or whatever happens, it's just like, like truly, because I know what it feels like. Hey, I got a time clock. Let me pick. I can care about this today, this. I literally don't have time. So there's some kind of freeing aspect that comes with something so heavy as well. And it's just so joyful. Like people, when I'm on the internet, I said I was retiring, and some people who follow me and some don't, but they're like, oh, why can't you just do 4 more years in retirement? So you're telling me I could probably live for 5 more years, but for 4 years, you want me to chase a paycheck? And that's where a lot of people get hung up. They just
Yeah.
money. They go from one job to the money, money, money. It's like I never need another dollar. I'm fine right now. I'm not chasing a paycheck. I rather just live and go do. And that's where a lot of people, they're gonna die on that deathbed. Like, man, I was just chasing money the whole time.
Well, it goes back to your point, right? Like you got this diagnosis, and it sounds to me like what you're saying. You had a moment of like, what does truly matter, right? In this
One
moment,
hundred percent.
you said you're not going to take your paycheck, you're not going to take your car. You are truly experiencing a sense of freedom. Has there been like one thing that you're like, I really don't give a f about this anymore? Like I don't give a crap about this anymore. Like any particular thing?
I mean, honestly, everything. Like even with the army, seriously. So they kept telling me like, hey, if you stay in, you can get a desk job. Blah 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 blah. That was letting the army go was hard. I'm not, like a few years ago. Now I'm fine, but because I was doing the army, like I was in it. Like I
Yeah.
wasn't just like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm a soldier. Like, no, I was in it for the entire time. I mean, I don't even know what I was chasing. I was just trying to be super soldier, and I
Yeah.
was. And to work for something for 15 years and kind of be stopped short of the goalposts. I mean,
Yeah.
that's not easy. But honestly, everything can go. I'm very free with money too, because I don't have any debt or anything, but I'm very free with money. I don't want anything to have me like this, nothing. There's a lot of sense of like this year, I ran a marathon in December, hurt my hamstring, and I wasn't able to run till like now. A few years ago, I would have been devastated. Like, no, I can't run, and I got something to prove or some time. Now I'm just like, okay, well, just heal up, and if you got to cancel which I had to cancel live. If you got to cancel every race this year, it's okay. Just come back next year. It's very like nothing is that stressful anymore. Everything is just like, and it feels very good. Now,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. I'm not just like floating, but there's like, okay, like it's very like okay. And it feels very good because a lot of times before that, everything was like, oh, and gotta go to school and now it's just like, okay. So it's very freeing. So yeah,
Janina,
feels good.
yeah, I don't say this lightly, and anybody who
Uh-huh.
knows me that's listening knows that. Oh shit, Shawn just said that. I truly think you're the goat. I truly
I
think you're the
appreciate
goat,
that.
And you
and
don't say
Mm,
that lightly for sure. Let me
I
tell you.
don't, I don't. And here's the
mm,
thing. I just want to tie it all together and push it back onto you. I was listening to Alex Harmozy, and he
mm-hmm.
he said, "What would you put somebody through in order to make them an absolute animal? You're not gonna put them through easy things. You're gonna put them through a lot of things. So anyone that
Right.
is being prepared to be an
Mm-hmm.
absolute animal
Mm-hmm.
to experience a lot of difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to tap into, your youth. You grew up in Germany.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you had a sister.
Mm-hmm.
What was like? How were you being prepared to be the goat?
So and it's very vivid in the book. It's one of my favorite chapters. So born and raised in Germany, my parents were together. Then they split. My dad was Army 13 Bravo. He moved to Washington State. My mom followed him. They didn't work out, but we
Mhm.
stayed there then. Um, and she, was working just really hard. We weren't in a good neighborhood, but she did all that she could do. Eventually, it was just too hard for her because now she's a white woman in America with two black kids. And that was a whole, I told her she needs
Ugh.
to write a book. She's been through it. Compared to
Yeah.
her, I ain't been through nothing. So we went back
Wow.
to Germany because she's very big on education. She was like, you know what? I don't want y'all growing up like that. I want you to get at least a good education. Went back to Germany and been through all the things. Me and my sister were the only kids in school. The black kids got bullied, got hate, all, whatever. But I think that by itself, because I don't care about, that's why when people are, oh, black and white, I don't care. Do your job, go be great. So all this, oh, I can't because I'm a woman and I don't want to hear none of it. I just, it doesn't like, that will never be a good enough excuse for me. I do not care. So that kind of happened. So when you're raised by a single mom, do y'all know Emma Greedy? Emma, is that how you say it? Emma Greedy? She's online right now, businesswoman. She's like the co-founder of Skims and all that. She
Oh,
launched a
yeah.
book. She had a hot take where she said she's a 3 hour mom. So she's this CEO or whatever she's doing. She's out there. She doesn't have that much time for her kids. She's a 3 hour mom. And she's like, I like that. Like, I need time to myself. I need time to work, but I'm there. And I was like, I'm a kid of a 3 hour mom. Not that my mom was a millionaire, the opposite. But when you're young and you just see how hard somebody works all the time just to provide, and like I told y'all yesterday, in my mind, I always wanted the white picket fence. I wanted my
Mm-hmm.
parents to be together. I wanted somebody to shuttle me to basketball practice and be at every event and do all these things. And never got any of it. Nobody was like, oh my God, good job at track practice. And that, I never had any of that. And at the time, it probably didn't feel good. You know, you saw the other kids have it, but I was already being shaped because without that, I wouldn't be here. The independence, the hard work, all of those,
Yeah.
the being frugal with money or, just having structure, I wouldn't have. See, I saw it. I didn't hear about it. I don't like when people hop on podcasts and research shows. Stop with the research. Stop with the stop. Oh my God. It drives
She
me
said,
insane.
we're not doing research.
Stop with the I know research is great, but
Yeah.
until you live something, stop talking about something you haven't lived. That like does something to me. But I saw it like firsthand. This woman, she battled some mental illness stuff. That I didn't really put that in book because that's her story, but that was really a hard time for me and my sister. So I think that just did something to me. And I didn't know it back then. I was still lazy, still didn't have any ambition, still all the things. I didn't do anything. I got home, I didn't study, I didn't care about school. I wasn't a bad kid, I didn't do drugs or anything. But after a while, I think it was 16, I moved to the States with my dad. High school was no different. Still no ambition, still got picked on because now I'm not black, I'm not white, I'm mixed. So
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
fit
I
in
could relate.
anywhere. Oh,
I can
yeah.
relate.
Um, I was on the basketball team, but I liked being on the bench. I didn't like being out there. I didn't work out. I was fat. I say that loosely. I was like 195 because I got like a job at Cars Jr. and I just kept eating. Um, so my previous army life was the complete opposite. I remember signing up for the army because my dad, he was like, you're gonna pay for college. Because I went to college for a year. I was just skipping class. I didn't care. I didn't do anything. I was just like, I'd like to say meh, like completely didn't do drugs, didn't get locked up, but had zero anything. I was just a physical blob. He was like, "You're gonna do something." So we signed up. I signed up for the army, and we went on the track. And I could not run a mile. I think I finished in
Wow.
like 13:30. I couldn't do it. Like I couldn't run a mile, not 1 mile. And I signed up, went to basic, and I loved structure. I was like, oh, be here this time. And I was like, oh, I like this. Like I like, and it just started clicking.
Interesting.
And then in AIT, and this is all in the book. And then AIT, I was like, I wanna get like the little Iron Soldier and the DHG. I just wanted for one time in my, I was sick of tired of being sick and tired. Because
Mm.
I can sit here all day and say, oh, I was the lazy kid. I was probably envious of those other kids, like the stars on the basketball team, but I never did anything about it. Never. I never was so mad that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go
I don't think
shoot
it was
hoops.
envy. Well, I think it's admiration that turns into
Admiration,
envy
yeah, I
because
wasn't
you
like
wanted to.
jealous or mad or
Exactly.
right, but I was just like, man, like why can't I? But I never did anything about it, just went right back to doing nothing. But in AIT, I was like sick and tired of being sick and tired. I started working out on my own and doing studying, and I didn't know what I was doing. I just
Yeah.
did a lot. I didn't know what it was, but just do a lot. And once I made DHG and I was an Iron Soldier, I never looked back. I was like, oh, so if I work, I can outwork anybody. I'm not talented, but when it comes to work, you're not willing to do what I'm doing. And looking back now, AIT was a very micro of what I am now. But then it just started ticking and ticking. I was like, oh, this is what it feels like. Because, and I think this is going to be part of my retirement speech. When I was younger, and I I had to let people when I was bullied or hazed by teachers, by students, I didn't have any receipts. I didn't feel like I earned my spot in the room or at seat at the table. I wasn't there yet. I was too young. I didn't know what it all meant. But going through the military, because all of that still continued. The army really gave me nothing. It gave me a table, or it really gave me an opportunity to show who already was. The army was not easy. I mean, I was still bullied, still this, still that. I mean, you can go on. The army wasn't like this safe haven where I went and everybody was like, go, Jay, go. No. But in that, I was able to turn myself around and say, hey, I'm going to outwork everybody. I'm going to earn my seat at the table, because that way none of y'all can ever talk to me like they did again. So when I'm in the room, I have this kind of hidden armor where I can sit there and be like, what's up? And I had to earn that for 15 years. It took 15, 16 years to earn that, but that was always my goal, because I don't like a bully. And bully, I say that loosely.
Yeah.
Bully, let's use that as an umbrella for everything. Nobody was ever going to bully me again. And if I had to outwork everybody, not have friends, stay up all night to study, then that's just what it took. And I was willing to pay the price. And I'm glad I did. So that's kind of my story in a very small nutshell.
I
Can you
have so
talk a
many
little bit?
questions.
Yeah, okay. One real quick, Nadege.
Uh-huh.
You talk a little bit about, because you said you came into the army, you were still meh, and then at BLC is when you started working hard and you won the DHD.
Hmm.
I'm interested in the in between. Like, what did you see? Who did you hear? Who inspired? What was it that gave you a thought
Hmm.
that this could be?
You stole my question.
So, oh,
Oh, that's
okay.
your
Well,
question?
there you go. So basic training. My drill sergeant, she told me after I took the first PT test, and it was like that time where we scored 300, it was like a 250 something. It wasn't bad. And she said, hey, this was like I ran like a 1430, and I don't know what that means. Going from 1 mile, I couldn't even finish, to
Right.
that. So she said, good job. So I was like, oh, whoa, like this is good. Um, DHD, I got it in AIT. I got that because a lot of the girls, they were just snickering about me. I don't know why, because I wasn't that great yet. And that did something to me. So when people say, they don't like to get fired up by their haters. Oh my God, I need that. I
I
love.
love me a good hater.
Oh my, please be in my
Please.
comments. Send me I'm being so serious.
Yeah.
And it
I
doesn't
get it.
internalize where I, take on how people feel, but I just love I can't what? It just lights a fire in me. So that was there. But after being a DHG and AIT, it was First Sergeant Gloria Belk. She was my first sergeant in Okinawa, Japan when I was a private. And she was still till this day the epitome of a non-commissioned officer. And honestly, after that, nobody else can follow. She was the absolute epitome. So I always wanted to be like her. And she put me in check, and this is all in the book. But honestly, like, did somebody come along and be like, oh my God, there was nobody. Even this entire time, there was no pats on the back. Like I said, I wasn't used to that. But I learned how to pat myself on the back. And a lot of people don't do that. Like, I think we just go, go, go,
Mm.
and we want other people to see what we're doing, but nobody will truly ever understand what you've been through, what it took to get there. Like, I tell a lot of people, for some people, getting out of bed is like me running a marathon.
Yeah.
And that won't resonate with a lot of people, but some people have been through so much, they're going through a whatever. For them to get out of bed, they should pat themselves on the back and be like, you know what? Good job. Today you're one step further. But to some people, be like, oh, they just got out of bed. We're all in different spaces of our life, and that could mean whatever to somebody. Like if I say, oh, I ran a marathon, somebody's like, oh, I ran a hunt. It's all different. But there was no like spark. I like the way it felt to be on the top, because I saw that people treat you different. Now they'll still hate you because they're envy and jealous, but now you have an armor like, well, you can do it all day because I'm the best. So that bullying felt different than when you had no receipts and getting bullied. So I was like, you know what? I'd rather you talk about me and try to do all these things when I'm on top.
Yeah.
So I was willing to pay that price just to be the best. So
Haters are just people that admire you, but like in secret. That's all that
one
is.
hundred
They're
percent.
just
Oh,
admiring
that's
you in
all it
secret.
is. it's kind of it's a mirror of the reflection that they wish they could see, but they know they can't be that, because nobody can be you. That's one. But
Right.
they really want whatever charisma or whatever you have. So instead of saying, hey, how do you do what you do, it's easier to say, hey, I don't like you. So that's just what it
I
is.
Talk to me about, you said like the girls at AIT were snickering,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then you
Mm-hmm.
recently posted this video, and we talked about it yesterday about
Mm-hmm.
how you've never felt that sort of support from women in the army. But
Mm-hmm.
then you give us this really great example of, I'm sorry, the first Sergeant Gloria, I forgot
Yeah.
the last name.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep. Belk.
Belt,
Mm-hmm.
belt.
Belk.
Mm-hmm.
So talk to me about the like, how do you go from like, I have these group of women that snicker behind me. I've never experienced the support, but then you have a female, I'm gonna say icon, but role model that you aim to be that. Talk to me about
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yeah, I mean, it was that the AIT, the snickering, and I can't say I experienced in high school because I wasn't doing anything. So nobody had a reason to say anything about me. And if they were,
Yeah.
I don't know what it would have been about. I was fat, I was out of shape, I wasn't doing nothing.
She said
If
I
you're
was
talking
fat.
about me, then you must be super miserable. And then in AIT, I have no idea what it was. Maybe I was showing little signs, and it made me feel very uncomfortable. When I was in Okinawa, Japan with First Arm Belk, um, I went to BLC. I was the commandant's list in the Iron Soldier. I came back to Okinawa, Japan, and the snickering was out of control. And what it did to me, I can't even say dim my light. I mean, I closed that thing down. Like it was
Wow.
like, yeah. So I came back, I was feeling myself. I was like, oh, BLC, like ironed it. And then, blah, 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 and I went like this. And I
From
would
women
walk
though.
from
Okay.
everybody, and I would walk around like this, and she had to put me in check, like, what are you doing? Like, you can't just shrink yourself because of that. Now the whole women thing, I would argue, probably came, it was there, but more so maybe more senior I became, that's when it really was a problem. um because I'm a combat MOS, and for anything in the army, there's not a lot of women. There is, but there's not. um and I think when I was more like the Ranger thing was after that, I was just done. And I think that comes from, I will say, I think it is jealousy, because there's no way she, I think women see each other and she's like me. We're both women. We have
Right.
the same everything. We're not like men. So what about you? Why were you able to do it and I can't? And you're never going to say that. But in
Mm-hmm.
your mind, it's like, why is she running 12:30s and I'm on the female scale running 18-minute 2 miles? Why
Mm-hmm.
is she with the men, got a tab, Ranger School, made history, and I can't? We're the same. And I think that's what always did it for him. But what I always try to tell women, and I think why I clash with him sometimes, because I'm not going to sugarcoat it, because a lot of women will write, oh, well, women and our biology and our hips and all that. That's fine.
Oh,
Go do
yes.
nails on the street then. Get out the army and go do nails. I'm being so for real. Or you could see for what it's worth. If men, and I'm not saying this is a fact, but if a man has to put in X amount of hours to be great, well, guess what? Double it. That's just what it is. And that is my philosophy. And I was willing to do it because I never wanted to be compared to females. Soldier, you don't say soldier female, soldier male. It is a soldier. So I don't want my
Yeah.
soldiers looking at me like, oh, that, no, I want to lead from the front, not for the females, but for all my soldiers. When you're a platoon sergeant, first
Yeah.
sergeant, sergeant major, it's not like I have an all female company or platoon. So this mere fact, like I want to be the best of women. No, I want to lead up front so I can show my soldiers that I can and that they can. So my marker wasn't even male. It was, what is the best? Who is the best? What is the best in the army? It's that. I got to be that. That's just what I did. And a lot of women don't like that because they don't want to put in the work. Because when I say put in the work, I think people are thinking like, oh, let me just study 30 extra minutes. Oh no, like
We're talking
that means
hours.
hours. I mean, I'm talking every day, wake up at 3 a.m. and do 2 hours PT before PT. And then after work, I'm talking every day. I'm not talking for one school, then you fall. I'm not, no, this is what a lot of people don't realize is with greatness or success, it's not like I became successful as a sergeant or I went to Ranger School. That was in 2019. It's like, oh, I got my tab. I mean, I've been increasing. And if you want to sustain greatness, people don't know, a lot of people don't know what that takes. It takes a lot. It takes everything. Um, And, my big philosophy is if you're great at something, let's say on a PT test, I score a 300, the perfect score, right? If I come back 6 months later and I score a 275, you have to ask yourself, what happened? Why did you
Yeah.
digress? What happened? And let's ask the question, did you get pregnant? Okay, that's fair. Did you have an injury? These are all fair things. But if none
Yeah.
of those happen, what happened?
You slipped
Exactly
up.
nothing.
You let it go.
You got lazy. That's all.
Hmm.
And I never wanted to get to that point. That's why when Ranger School happened, we can talk about for a little bit, and then it's what's next. That's why I'm a what's next kind of person. All right, what's next? Because if I don't do that, I'm not digressing. That means now I'm just lazy. Now I'm not putting forth the effort that I used to. So what happened? Is there something going on in my mind? Am I hurt? Like something? And if not, you need to get better. Better is relative. We're getting older and stuff like that. But if anything, you can always still put forth the same effort. That might look, if you're working out 4 hours a day, now you're older, now you're just doing two, that's fine. But if you just fall off a cliff, that's why sustaining greatness, it is
It's
very
harder.
hard. So when people look at me, I've sustained, my God, I got even better for 15 years, so it's kind of like, when these women look at me and they think I have something they don't, I do. I have a tenacity that you will never understand. And that comes from like Germany in high school. It's still in me. Like it just, I have a drive that I feel like I'm representing a lot of people. I feel like I'm representing my mom who got bullied in her childhood, in her adulthood. I feel like I'm representing my dad who had his stuff going on. I'm representing a lot of people,
Hmm.
because what I want to do with this is, if you ever come for anybody in my circle, and anybody's relative, because I have love for a lot of
Right.
people. If you come for any of my people, come for me. Like I'm always with that. Like, Gabby, she doesn't love running and she's great at PT. But if anybody would ever say something about her PT score, I'd be like, oh, no, 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 come talk to me. What's that? No, I'm being so for real.
Yeah.
Like I hate a bully. I've seen it all my life, and I hate
Yeah.
people who come for people. If you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing. But if you do want to say something to somebody,
Back
be
it up.
careful who they so associate with, because you can come for me too. And then we might have to go toe to toe, and then now I can treat you how you're treating other people. So I can get motivation from anything, from the haters, from my childhood, just the will. I love the grind. A lot of people love to race and get the medal, and I do not. Race day is fun, but the grind,
The
I
process.
love.
Sean talks about
Oh,
this all the time. It's not
I
about the end state. It's about the process. And I hate it when
Right.
Sean gets there because, and I'm
yeah.
like, I want the outcome, right? Like I have
No, I
to.
don't. I do not want that out. I love when I'm in bed and I'm like, okay, even right now, and we're gonna act like I got accepted. I'm excited right now, and it's May. Cocodona's not till May. In my mind, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go to sleep. I get to wake up, then I get to run, however many. I love the grind. Like if I have a workout on the tread or wherever, and I'm like, all right, this Tuesday I gotta run whatever, and then the next Tuesday I come back. If I PR, if I do better in that workout, that feels way better than PRing in a marathon. And I can't really explain that, but I learned to fall in love with mundane, just everyday, boring stuff that other people don't want to do. So then race day is going to be like, oh my God, what? It's like day after day after day. And I can do it all day, every day. And I think that's what's special about me, is that I don't mind. I love the grind. Hey, you got to wake up at 3. All right, I'll be there. Other people, I got to wake up at 3. So that's where we're different. So I already have the edge. You know what I'm saying? So there's no talent, there's no special sauce, there's no secret to success. There's none of that. And I think what I'm really excited about with my book, I think it is a blueprint for success in any realm. It could be for a CEO, it could be for a soldier, it could be, and it's so simple. Anybody can apply it. Anybody can just see that she really didn't do anything crazy. She just did a lot of work, a lot of the same things. She fell down and she kept standing back up, fell down. That's all it is. Like, I don't care about anybody's talent. I don't care about all the, people start running. They're like, oh, what shoes do I need? What watch? Stop with all this.
Well, When it comes to
stuff.
talent, it just reminded me there research. According to research, Janina, I know you loved it.
Oh, Jesus. According to
There's
research.
Angela Duckworth. She did
Mm-hmm.
this research project, and she showed
Mm-hmm.
that it doesn't matter how much talent you have. What really matters is that you have grit. And I think everything that you're describing is grit.
100%.
You're a gritty
100%.
person, right? Like you are in
You
the
have to be
grind.
gritty.
Exactly.
Yes.
You have to be
You
gritty to
have to be
do
gritty.
everything.
Yes. Everything requires grit because truthfully, nobody wants to do anything. This sounds crazy. I was listening to a Cam Hanes podcast and somebody asked about cancer and about dying. And I said, without being dramatic, I said, you know what, the one day I am, or week, or however long I'm on my deathbed, that is probably going to be the first time I find peace. Not that I don't have peace right now, but that true peace where you have to rest. Because right now I can. And when I can, I'm like, okay, doctorate, running. My mind will never, I'm never just gonna be like, okay, I'm just not gonna do anything. That's just not how I'm wired. But on that deathbed, it'll be the first time where it's like, just, you can't. So that's where that grit is kind of just gonna be like, you can now just rest. But until then, I'm the grittiest soldier that's out there. I will outgrit anyone. That's just a fact. Like if I'm on the treadmill next to David Goggins, and that's my guy, I love him, and he is gritty. I'm gonna die on that treadmill. If we're gonna do whatever, like who can walk the longest, let's
We'll
battle.
should
Like
tag him in this podcast and be
but you
like,
know what I'm saying?
challenge.
In my mind, that's how everybody needs to be. Though
Yeah.
that's not. I'm not saying David Goggins
That
is.
triggered me. I'm like, let's go, Janina. Shit, let's get on the
I'm being so
treadmill
Hey,
and
you
so
let's
for
can.
run
real.
next
Like
to each
you
other.
have to
Not me.
believe. If you don't believe you're the grittiest person, you're leaving something on the table. I'm not saying I need to be better than anybody. He'd probably blow me in the water. We'll never know. But I'm saying if you
Or
don't
will we?
feel about yourself, or will he, that you're the grittiest person, you're not working hard enough. You're just not. You should go on any podcast, talk to any person, be like, no, you can't outwork me. You cannot. And but then you need to be able to back that up. And a lot of people,
Receipts?
they'll say it like, oh, I work hard, and then you actually look at what they're doing, and it's like,
Do you?
no, you're not. No, you're not.
This might be a hard question to answer,
Uh-huh.
but you said it's an open book here.
Mm.
Is there anyone that's close to you, whether it's a family member
Hmm.
and that's tried to hold you back?
Ooh.
Oh, that is actually a very good question. Um, this is not going to be a fan favorite answer. I've had those people, and they had to go.
She said the door right there.
No, I'm being so for real. If when Gabby and I got together, that was right before Ranger School, and I was gritty. I was working. She already knew what it was, and I already told her, if I had to pick, I'm not picking you. Not like I'm not picking you, but I'm not changing. I can't. This is what comes with Janina, and that might not be fun for, like, and this is in the book too. That might not be fun for people. I'm boring on the weekend. From 5 to 12 to 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. Don't bother me. Like I'm on rucking. There's no question to ask. And if you're gonna nag, and that was never the case. That's why it's amazing. Latoya already knows what it is. My family already knows what it is. I've had people or relationships, and they had to go because I'm not compromising who I am. You know, I'm not your, oh, let's go out for drink. I'm not doing that. And that's just not who I am. And if that's who you want me to be, then you go find somebody else. Um, my mom, before Ranger School, this is my mom. I told her I had to cut my hair. She was like, "You're not doing that." I was like, "Yes, I am." She's like, "No, you're not." She's like, "Wait." So she was not a fan. And I'm not saying she had to go, of course not, but I didn't listen to my mom. Like she did not want me to go to Ranger School. My mom. Not because truthfully, I think part of her was probably like, that is beyond you. Like that is too hard. And I'm not mad at that because it really is crazy. But like cutting the hair, she wasn't a fan. If I would have listened to my mother like I do, then I wouldn't have went. So when you have your dream, when you know your purpose, when you have all these things like I do, you have to be willing to go by yourself and have this mind that at the end of the day, anybody can go, because living And our life is truly about finding your purpose and doing what you're supposed to do. And when we listen to these people and move in this way, you're not doing what you're supposed to do. And that's
right.
hard. It's
Mm-hmm.
hard, but I know that about myself. Like when I started doing things, I was like, oh, wow, you're doing a lot and this is going to be a lonely road, because I didn't have an anchor point. Nobody was doing what I was doing. I didn't have Nobody was doing what I was doing, so I didn't have anybody pave the way. Oh, by the way, I didn't have anybody to ask for advice. Um, and then when you have these people tell you, you have to be so steadfast and know, like, no, this is my goal, this is my dream. And a lot of my dreams and my visions are delirious. Like they don't make any sense. Like now I'm on the phone, like, hey mom, I want to run Coca-Dona's 250 miles. Like, what? Like, what? But when you know, you know, and if you got to go by yourself, you got to go by yourself. That's why a lot of people get held back, because the spouse will be like, "Oh, babe, take it easy and
Yeah.
don't go." And I don't got time for none of that. And my people know. You could tell me whatever. Thank you. I'm not doing that. Like I
Mm-hmm.
I
appreciate you
want
being
to,
concerned.
yeah. I want to touch on something, and I think it's
Hmm.
important, especially because the hair, right? A lot of, and I saw this in your video, and I love that you talked about it.
Hmm.
A lot of people are like, "Oh, so you got to shave your hair," and like Sean's looking
Hmm.
at me like, "Okay," and
Uh-huh.
Janina said, "Do you date a bald woman? Do you know what the sacrifice is to shave your head as a
Right.
woman?" And
Right.
people minimize that, but you then talked about it and related it back to
Hmm.
my purpose is so much greater that I'm willing to sacrifice cutting off my hair. And I
Hmm.
think you also said those women that go to ranger school, they're willing to
Hmm.
sacrifice that. And I just don't think that people, if you're not a woman, and I'm very attached to my
Hmm.
hair,
Hmm. Hmm.
that the sacrifice that takes to you, okay, like, and it's not, I'm just gonna cut a couple inches. No, I'm gonna
Right.
take it all off.
Right. 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 I truly think anything that is going to, let's use the word, catapult you into the next dimension, whatever that is, in business and in army, whatever, in running, it's going to cost you something. You have to
Mm,
let something go
Yep.
to
mm.
get something else. Because if I just stay right here,
Say
in
it for the
order to get
people in
over
the back.
there, I gotta let something go. And I truly believe a lot of times in life it's a test. Like,
Yeah.
how bad do you want? Because oh my God, I really want to be a SAR major. Well, how bad do you really want it? I'm gonna give you these tests, and I just want to see if you really, really. A lot of people don't want it. They say that you just don't want it. Like when Eric said, "As bad as you want to breathe," y'all really just don't. You don't want it as bad as you want to breathe. You just don't. So with the hair, um, I think they opened up Ranger School in 2015, 2016,
Yeah.
and it had just happened. Some people made it through, and my mentor, First Time Bell, she's like, "Hey, like, have you thought about Ranger School? Like, I think you could do it." And I was like, "I'm not cutting my hair," and it wasn't
Exactly.
so much. I'm not a girly girl, and it wasn't necessarily so much about the hair, but it's everything that it would
Your
have
identity.
represented. Yes, but for me, it was more so what it would have represented, because I wasn't. I knew what I could do, but in the back of my mind I was like, but can you do it though? And I
Mm.
say that to say, when I cut my hair, I'm not like a man, like, hey, oh, he's bald, but he cut his hair, it's probably, he just probably cut it. But for me it's like, whoa, you cut your hair, does she have a tab? No. What happened?
Ah.
Now you're like,
Mm.
what happened? Now you have to explain yourself. A man is just like, oh, there's just a soldier, he just cut his hair. He doesn't have to explain anything. He can like grieve, like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't make it through ranger school, I'll just go. He doesn't have to do all that. Mine is front row.
Mm.
What happened? And now I have to walk around with it, like, just
Yeah.
constantly, and have this awkward stage when it's like 1 inch and I look a hot
Lace front.
mess. Right. But what I love, because I saw a post one time, a female was like, oh, we shouldn't have to cut our hair and do it. No, yes, you should. Like,
It's a
that's what I
standard.
don't like. It's the standard for Ranger School. Again, get out and go do nails, or show me that you really want it. Because we want to be treated as equals, right? Well, then let's do some equal things, which involves you cutting your hair. Um, and I liked it because it was like, hey, send it. Like, you really want to do it, cut your hair. And I was like, you know what? For 2 years I didn't go because of that. And I was like, and the fear of failure. They were just linked. And I was like, I can't do that. It's beyond me. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna cut the hair, I'm gonna train, and I'm gonna go. And I did it. And it was one of the best decisions I ever made, because it catapulted me into that next dimension. Without that, I would have been a great soldier, but what I'm trying to do and opportunities, they wouldn't be there, and now they are. And it was, and my hair grew back, and I lost it again with cancer, and now it really is just hair at this point. I do not care. But I think it's a great test in life, and you're going to be willing to see what you're willing to let go of. So if people say they want it, they'll show if they truly want
Yeah.
something. And if they're not willing to pay the price, then they just don't want it bad enough. So
Yep, that's right. You
mm-hmm,
talk a little bit about Ranger School. Two questions.
mm-hmm.
What inspired you to go do that? What inspired you to go do Ranger School? And then can you talk a little bit? We talked about this yesterday, and I
Mm-hmm.
asked you at what point in your career did you just get unlocked? Like, can you talk a little
Mm-hmm.
bit how Ranger
Beast
School
mode.
did that for you? Yeah.
Yes.
So unfortunately, I wasn't inspired to go to a ranger school. I was complacent. Um, so at the time, I was a senior drill sergeant leader at the Drill Sergeant Academy. So when I got there, I was, a DSL. I was in the Shark Tank because those are the 1% of the 1%. And I made my way like I always do. Now I'm a senior. I've been all the DHTs, the high PT. I did all the things that I thought I could do other than make rank because I was a sergeant first class. So my buddy walked in the office and he's like, you know what, at the end of the day, like you can keep getting like scoring high on the PT, but it gets boring. And he was right. He was like, why don't you go to Ranger School? And I was like, oh, like I'm good, but I'm not that good. And he was like, okay, well, just I forget what he said, but it was kind of like a little slick blow, like, just be average. And I don't like that. Like me
That
and
triggered
average, we
you.
don't, it triggered me. So I drove home when I start doing that, it's just game over. So I was like, well, why don't you go? Like it was very intimidating, but I was like break down why you're not going. So came up with the hair, fear failure, 60 days of no sleep, no eat, walking around with a 60 to 80 pound rucksack, doing patrolling, which is infantry tactics. I'm 88. I've done them, but not to that extent. I just had so many reasons why I didn't go. So I got home and then I went to my deathbed. I was like, okay, so you're telling me that you're going to be on your deathbed and you're going to be hear about all these women who did it, which what's so great about them? And it pissed me off. I was like, truly, because I believe you'll never know how great you are until you go up against or do the same thing as the best. That's just a fact. Like, I'm not going to run a marathon with a person who's running their first marathon and a 50-minute mile beat them, be like, yeah, I beat like that. Like, stop. Like, that's not a good feeling. You should want to go in the Shark Tank, not to beat anybody, but to see what you're truly made of. Like, just to
Yes.
see
The
where
portal.
are you, go to the portal and see where you're at. And I was like, you have to go. So I signed up that next day and I just started training. I asked some people to help me train. They were like, no, you're too skinny. You could blah, 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 blah. So I just did it by myself. Um, and the second part to your question is Ranger School was that for me. Because I saw what I was capable of. I mean, it unlocked. I already had it inside and it was partially unlocked because I've done a lot. I was always the top. But Ranger School, which is the military in society, we can argue is one of the toughest organizations. I think that's just what it is. We do, we have leadership. So you got some parallels to like CEO and all that. Then we do the hard stuff. We're in the field. We don't eat. We do all these things. So I think it's one of those places where if you can be in the military, you almost, if you're good, you could truly do anything. So within this place, this great place where you're just the cream of the crop. Now, if you're at the center of that, like a ranger school, when I did that, I was like, oh, wow, like you're one of the best of the best. And it just really unlocked, it wasn't even really about ranger school and the task and all the things. It unlocked my mind like, oh, you cannot eat, not sleep, and do this thing for 62 days. What could you not do then? And it just gave me it solidified my belief in myself because I didn't have that yet. It doesn't matter what other people say about you. Like right now, if I do something and somebody tells me good job, I appreciate it. I do, and it's sweet, but I really don't care. And that's not from your opinion doesn't matter, but it really doesn't matter for my deep down, but I have to believe it. if you say, oh, you're pretty, and you're like, oh, thanks, and then you go home and you're like, that didn't matter. You have to be able to look in the mirror and say, you look good today, but mean it. And that's what it did for me. I was like, oh, you're really everything that you worked for, you're really that. And it just unlocked this unshakable belief. And I say this in every podcast. I believe that I'm the toughest woman alive. Is that true? We will never know. And that doesn't mean there's not tough women out there. But I believe we're going to both get on a treadmill and I will die on that treadmill.
That's you, Shawn.
Before you gone off.
Or David Goggins.
No,
so that's just, so
your friends, we got to bring you on here and let you two You know Chris Grice, right?
Who?
Chris Grice, the first female ranger that unlocked.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I got to bring her on this episode.
Yeah, I've never met her.
Wow.
I would love to.
Okay.
I've never met them. I haven't really met them. Yeah. And again, that's so relative. Me saying that doesn't mean I'm gonna outrun you. That doesn't mean any of that. That means my belief is like, I want to try to explain it because a lot of people will try to correlate it being better than somebody. That's not what I'm saying. Me saying I'm the toughest doesn't mean I'm better than anybody. That means I believe that I can do anything. And it took 15 years to get there. And it's kind of that no quit attitude, if that makes sense.
It's a grit.
And that grit and that's what Ranger School gave me. Because when I was out there with them boys, and it was tough, and we did some things that are just stupid. But after you do them, I just have this box of overflowing receipts. So anything that's tough after that, which was in 2019, you go through and you're like, oh, like Cocodona, right? Because I was on the crew. And she was running so fast, we had to move to every spot really quickly. And you go through the night because she wasn't really sleeping. So you just move and everybody's like, oh, sleep and that. And then once it was all said and done, and they're so sweet. And they're like, hey, the crew, and go get sleep. How are you guys doing? I was like, how are we doing? I don't know. But to me, I'm used to, I did it before, it's fine. You know what I'm saying? So you always have something to go back to. And it's like, oh, it's no big deal. And I like that feeling, of being able to do that. Because a lot of people don't have that anchor point. They've never done anything hard. And now everything is hard. Like, oh my God, I didn't sleep 8 hours. I can't function. Is that must be rough. You know what I'm saying? So it unlocked a lot of things. Now I'm able to, you could put me in the room with anybody and I would feel like I earned a seat at that table. It could be with a CEO, it could be with Oprah, it could be with Obama, it could be with David Goggins, and I could be at the seat with him and not feel like, oh my God, that's David Goggins, I don't belong here. I would say, oh my God, that's David Goggins, but I wouldn't say I don't belong here. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Oh, yeah. I feel like, so that's why I feel like everybody needs to work and earn that. Because a lot of people, the difference between, like we talked about yesterday, being good or great and the best is self-belief. A lot of people don't have self-belief. They don't believe that they deserve something. That's one. Oh no, not me. Why would I get that? Stop doing that. Get that self-belief and then get everything that's coming your way. But again, it took me, when you read the book and you're going to get tired of it, imposter syndrome is every chapter you're going to hear me talk about it, because I want people to know it just doesn't oh, you did Ranger School, imposter syndrome's gone. It still wasn't like that. So there's still levels, there's still seasons, you work through it, but every time you do things, it just gets lesser and, you build that self-belief. So
I'm looking forward to Draw 4. I'm looking forward to Draw. But by the way, everyone listening,
it's coming.
Draw 4 is the name of Janina. Mm-hmm. Sorry, Nadege. One question about the book before Nadege. Mm-hmm. One question.
Don't steal my question.
Okay, go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
Okay, if you could rip one chapter out of your book, and that's all that is left, and you're like, this is, if you read a chapter, this is the chapter to read.
This is the one.
Oh my God.
Is it? And why did you pick that chapter?
From the GOAT, No Pressure.
Oh man. So that is so hard because and this is so non-biased. The chapters are just so impactful. And they're all different. If I could only pick one, if I could only pick one, it would probably be the last one, because the last one is the culminating event. And by this time, you've seen everything that I've been through. And the chapter before that is when I talk about cancer. So you see me go through the military career, get beat down, come back up, do all my things. Then it talks about cancer. And then in the last one, I talk about how I did the 75-mile ruck march, half ruck, half run, right after radiation, all those things. And I end with, I still have cancer, but I'm still winning. Like, so the end of the book, you're like, oh my God, like you feel this uplifting. And I remind you, no, 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 no. Still stage 4 cancer, still dying, but I'm still winning. And it kind of shapes everything. Because that's what I want people to know. People think their winning season is when there's an absence of. That's not a fact. You can have a winning season while you're going through the worst thing in your life. So we're so bent up on, you can get promoted and somebody in your life is dying. So now what? We don't celebrate the promotion. You can't do that. So while I'm going through this season, which could maybe be the worst one, I'm so blessed. I'm meeting people through Cocodona. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. So that's what that last chapter kind of signifies. That like stage 4 cancer, just got done with radiation. I'm still doing 75 miles. I still graduated Sergeant Major's Academy. I made history as the first, so you can be in this season, but in the season, there's still so many blessings. So if I had to pick one, it would be that one, because it's like the culmination. But they're all there without trying, because I just wrote the book and I'm a sequential order type of person. Every chapter speaks to it. I don't know. You just have to read it. It's wild. The way it was structured, I read it and I was like, I didn't even do this on purpose. And everyone has a different lesson, a different. It's really good. I'm very excited for it to release. It's really good. And it really just doubled down. So the pre-sales should start next week, hopefully. I'm waiting on the last word from my publisher. I already ordered all my books. So once we say this is done, they'll come in, take about 3 to 5 weeks. So I'll push the publishing date. It'll probably be end of June for it to like ship. But next week I should start the pre-orders. And then I think it's going to open up some dialogue for a lot of podcasts, because there's a lot of stuff that people don't know about me. They say Ranger Simmons, and I'm like, that's like a fraction of,
right.
There's hype around it and it's cool. And, I'm not, the fact that I made history still, I think it still didn't like resonate with me. And I don't think it ever will, that you made history in an organization that's been around since 1775. Like, that's wild. Like, that's crazy. And I made it twice. So that's kind of like, but yeah, I'm very excited for the book to come out. Very excited.
No, that's awesome. Sorry, Nadege.
Very
Is
excited.
that your question?
No. Sometimes, Shawn, no, that wasn't my question. But my question was about the portal in Ranger School. So you mentioned earlier that you haven't been to the portal.
Okay.
So do you think that you've been fully on, because you said Ranger School unlocked me, but you didn't go to the portal. So there's more of you to be unlocked?
Oh my God. I think so. I don't think I've scratched the surface yet. In Ranger School, the hardest phase was mountain phase. It was absolutely exhausting. When you think about a mountain and going up that mountain with 60 to 80 pounds, even though you're not running but just like doing it already on a broken body, it was exhausting. But I didn't go to the portal yet because I just wanted that tap so bad. Yeah, but no, I wasn't at the portal yet. That's crazy that you asked me that. I think there's a lot to unlock. I think I have a lot left in the tank. And I think that stems from, I'm always like, okay, you did 75 miles. When are you going to do 100? When are you doing 150? Like, there's always more to be had. I think for like a 250 miler, I'm going to the portal a few times. Because
She said a few times, not once.
I know, and I want that. Like, I seek that out, and you know what? I highly doubt it. Maybe I'll quit. I want to see if I'm out there and I would quit. I want to know. Like you just said, I want to know if there's a time where I'm like, I can't do it. I quit. I want to know if I pull the plug. I doubt it, but
Yeah,
I
I don't
want to
think that's
know.
gonna happen.
I don't think it's going to happen either, because I said in my video, unless I'm dying, don't pull me off that track. Like, unless I'm dying. But no, Ranger School, it was so hard. But I think my why, it wasn't the tab. Yeah, I wasn't there just for the tab. I was there to prove myself right, and I was
Yeah.
there to prove everybody else wrong. I was there for so many reasons. I was there for so many reasons, and every time I felt like sorry for myself, I pulled out one reason, like, oh no, oh no. And then I feel sorry for myself again, and then oh no, so I had so many reasons. And again, it was hard, but I trained so hard that it was almost, I don't want to say okay, but it wasn't like something I've never done. Because when I trained, it was like Kobe Bryant said, I trained to exhaust. I didn't have like, there's like these Ranger training plans out there, like do 8 sets of this and girl, bye. I showed up. I would be at the gym for 2 hours, 3 a.m., 2 hour leg day. Just smoke your legs, do whatever you want to do, heavy, do whatever. Then you go on a 4 mile ruck with 60 pounds, and then you do 10 miles. Then the
Yeah.
next day you come back and do every day was like that. It was stupid. And the reason it was like that, because when you're in Ranger School, there's no, oh, we can only have them do 10 push-ups. Like those RIs, as soon as you showed up, it was crazy. And they did it for hours. And I knew that. So your body had to prepare to do overhead arm claps, push-ups, like there's no, hey, Monday chest. You're not working out like that. I wasn't. Every day, anything could happen. And that's how I trained. But by doing that, when I went to the course, I was ready. It was hard, but my body was like, okay,
Yeah.
like we do this. So it
Is
was
there anything?
possible.
Is there anything that surprised you about Ranger School? Like, did you have an opinion about the school prior to attending,
I
and you got there, and it was like, man, this is surprising.
The surprising
Ooh, good
part was
question.
for me, these damn lieutenants, and I love them,
Ah,
but I
Oh,
was a drill sergeant at the
lieutenants.
time. I was a drill sergeant at the time. And the RIs, they were doing the same thing I was doing as a drill sergeant. So that didn't shock me because that was my life. But those lieutenants, I mean, they were just like privates, and they weren't used to it. And every time they did something, we got in trouble, like mass punishment. And in my mind, I never thought about that because it was heavy on lieutenants. There was only a few enlisted. And it used to piss me off. I was just like, oh my, like get it together. But other than that,
Thinking about
I
my
there
cadets, Shawn. Thinking about my cadets.
those lieutenants would, oh my god. But no, the instruction, the RIs, they were amazing. They did what they were supposed. It was hell, but when it was time to give instruction, they were amazing. Like it's not always rah rah rah, mostly yes, but when they taught classes and everything, it was great. Some were harder than others, some were a little extra, and that's just what it is. But I have nothing bad to say about how the course was run, what they did. It was exactly what it was supposed to be. It was exactly what you hear it to be. So when you do sign up or you do want to go, that's exactly what you're gonna get. So there should be no surprise, like, oh, they're yelling at me. Well, yeah, that it's Ranger School. It's supposed to be stressful. You're simulating. The hard part about Ranger School, when you hear you don't eat, you don't sleep. Yeah, we had 2 MREs a day, which have, I don't know how many calories they have. MRE is what, like 225, maybe three,
5, yeah, I
if
think.
that. Let's say 25. You're burning 8 to 10,000 a day. So when I say don't eat, you're eating, but you're not eating enough.
Mhm.
When I say don't sleep, maybe every night you got an hour, maybe two, some days none. And that accumulates. And when it's accumulated and you're tired, you're hungry, you're stressed, then you still have to perform. It's not like you're running a race. Let's say you're running an ultra and you're just tired and you're like, I just need an hour. Like everybody don't bother me. You're in your feeling. You can't do that because you're still on a
You.
mission, right? You're still on a mission. So that's like you saying war and bullets are flying. Like, hey, enemy, don't bother me right now. I'm tired. I'm sick. That's what's hard about Ranger School. Like that, you still have to perform like you slept, like your body's fresh. You can't go on a mission one day because you have to do it every day, and then the next day, like, oh, I'm so tired from yesterday and the rucksack. I need a
Take a
break. You
break.
can't. You can't. And the hard part about that is if you ever express that, like, oh man, it's so hard, but there's still this thing called peers, which I love.
Ah,
You get peered out. Your buddies at the end of each phase are going to say, hey, Simmons couldn't hold her weight. She was always complaining, blah, blah. You will get kicked out for that. So every time I felt, and I was just like, I keep it shut. Because if you say one thing and you're a woman, they're going to be like, oh, there she goes.
that's why they don't belong here, right? Like that's the first thing that people
And I
say
wouldn't
if you
be
were to
mad at
complain.
them. I would
Yeah.
not be mad at them because I wouldn't want you complaining all the time. If a female's doing all of that, bye, go do nails. So you had to catch yourself and be careful not to outwardly express, because as humans, you want to confide in somebody like, hey man, but I couldn't do it. And that was hard. I remember sometimes I was writing letters, I would be crying, not because I'm hurt or anything. It was just a lot of, it was just heavy, like ranger school, and you're just ugh, and you just write, tears are falling, and then you got to pick it back up and keep it moving. But again, that does something to you, because now I'm in a place of so gratitude. Like I really, when I complain, I'm like, all right, stop, what are you complaining about? Because what you realize as humans, you can hold it back. If you're in a situation like that and you're forced to like just shut up, just keep it moving, you can do it in real life, but there's no tension there. You don't have nothing to lose. So you're just gonna meh, 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 meh. So there was a lot of lessons in ranger school. Again, I don't even think it was about the tab. It was just about what you learn about yourself. But those are the hard things. We always talk about PT and the stuff. That's, to me, that wasn't the hardest part, because you can train for that. Like if you train physically, the mental aspect, that's when a lot of men gave up. They were just like,
Yeah.
I need to eat, I need to sleep, meh, 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 meh. And that was kind of their, downfall. I mean, some men, geez, some guys lost 40 to 50 pounds in
Damn.
60 days. Yeah, it was Hunger Games. It
Was there
was wild.
anything that pissed you off while you were there? Like just
Besides the
pissed you off?
lieutenants.
Like, pissed me off, like how? Like,
Like it was, you just saw it happen, or maybe something happened to you, or maybe it was a treatment thing, but it just fucking pissed you off.
since we got time, yes, there was.
I
And
got
it's
the time
very
today.
vivid. It's very vivid in the book. So it was the first phase. It was Derby phase. We had just got done patrolling. You usually finish around midnight or 1 a.m. And that day I had the machine gun. So with your ruck, you either have the machine gun or ammo, like you rotate, like the
Hmm.
litter, you rotate through all these things. So I had the machine gun and we're doing a mission, and I don't know what happened, but like I slipped, and we were like going through a river or something. And I mean, I'm just caked in mud, just caked. And you
Ugh.
don't shower in ranger school really. And I was okay with that. But like when you're just that filthy, it just makes everything so much worse. So, and in Ranger School, you have to go everywhere with a battle buddy, right? So we got back to the hub, to the patrol base, to the compound, and it was like 1 a.m. And I asked the RIs, like, look, you see me, I see you. We had like a little tent, like, I don't know, 25, 50 meters down the way. I say, can I go change? He said, yeah, go, because you look a hot mess. That was the only, I just wanted to change. So I go over there. I didn't ask for a battle way. I just run over there. And I was so grateful. That was the first time, like, I'm not around people. Like, I just wanted some peace. Like, everybody leave me alone so I could breathe. So I'm just changing. In walk these other two guys in
Ooh.
my class. So they walk in, which was fine. They go to the back. I'm minding my business. I'm just changing. And they're doing whatever. I do not care. So all of a sudden, a RI walks in. And he says, what the are y'all doing? And I'm just like, what are we doing? And he goes back there with those guys. And from what I could see, he pulls out like a PC. And in there, there's 2 cans of dip. Now,
Ugh.
Ranger School, everything is contraband. We didn't have deodorant. Anything other than like you were allowed to have gum, and that was it. And gum and what the packing list. No, obviously no cigarettes, tobacco, anything was contraband. Anything from an MRE. If you took out like a little peanut butter and you put in your contraband, you'll get kicked out. Anything was contraband. They had dip in there. So when I saw it, I was like, oh, he cursed us out, got us out the tent. We went to the compound where our unit was, and all hell broke loose. I mean, so he told his battle, they were yelling at us. I mean, it was bad. While this is going on, we're just getting smoked all night. That was the first time in my entire life that I did not sleep for 2 seconds, not one. It was already 1 a.m. till 6 a.m. till the sun came up. We, it was, I cannot make this up. I saw somebody fall asleep in the front leaner. I can't make it up. We were just so, and you just see them like crack, and they'll yell at them to get back up. While this is going on, the men hate me because now they think I did it. They're just all looking at me, and because the RIs are yelling like, "Oh, y'all want to do?" And in my mind, I'm like, I've smoked a cigarette when I was 16. I haven't done any tobacco since. Like, I'm just like, it was indescribable. So that goes on. Kawinka Dinkley, the next day, they were gonna see all like what soldiers are going on to the second phase. Like, because you can get like points and stuff. So some will get kicked out for that or failing patrolling, all these things. So they're lining all of us up who have to like go see the commander to see if we're allowed to move on or not. So before that, I tell those guys, because I saw them, I said, y'all better tell them I had nothing. Like, I was hot. I can't even explain how I felt. It was one of the first times in my life where it's like, I did not do this thing. I promise you I didn't do this thing, but nobody believed me. I'm the woman. I was in there. Yay, let's get her out. So I go in there, we go see the commander, and he's like, hey, blah, blah, blah. We're gonna have to let you go. And I wasn't gonna beg. I was very cordial. I was like, sir, but like I didn't. He's like, well, if you did or if you didn't, at the end of the day, you went in the tent by yourself. You didn't have a battle buddy. I said, oh, so we're being petty. I was like, you know what? I said, Roger that, sir. I wasn't gonna do none of that. I was like, y'all got exactly what you wanted. You probably wanted to get me out. Because again, a lot of RIs were great and some were not. I said, say less. So we went out. The guys, they were like, I'm so sorry. We told him what was it. I was like, you know what? It is what it is. And I was hot, but I was like, I'm not going to make a scene and be exactly who you want me to be. I'm not doing that. So that was the same day. Like I said, we were going to go to the next phase. So now we're just out. Now we're all out there. Nobody's bothering us. We're like cleaning weapons, talking, chilling, whatever. I wasn't. I was sitting on my thing and I was heartbroken because now it's like, you're not even getting kicked out because you can't perform. You're getting kicked out because of
someone else. Yeah, exactly.
Look at my teeth. I don't, and I can't explain it. A few hours go by and I'm just sitting there so sad, miserable. The guys hate me still because they're like, just, oh, whatever. And I just prayed. I was just like, you know what, God? Everything that I feared, me going back bald and failing and everything. And I just prayed and it kind of was just like this freedom, like just let it go. I just let it go. I was like, you know what? It wasn't meant to be. And I fell asleep because I was exhausted and they weren't bothering me. So I fell asleep. So I don't know how long it was. And I got woke back up. It's like, Ranger Simmons. And I was like, oh shit, like what's going on? So I got up and now all of a sudden there's new RIs from mountain phase, right? To come pick them up to go to the next phase. They're like, Ranger Simmons. And I'm like, what? What happened? And they're like, hey, here's your roster number for mountain phase, blah, 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 blah. I said, what? I said, sorry, there must be like, I'm not going. Like they told me I'm getting kicked out. Blah, blah. Get your fucking number. And I grabbed it and I'm like, what? Like, what is going on?
Right.
So the one of the old RIs came up to me and he's like, I'm like, sorry, like, is this like, what's going on? Like, I thought I was going home. He's like, no, the paperwork that was signed, it went to the BC or whatever, colonel, whomever. And he clicked no for whatever reason. He said, no, she's going to continue on. And I was like, that was one of the first times, and there's probably more, but I had just been getting in tune with my faith when I was like, oh, so when God vetoes something, y'all can't do nothing. And that was a very, very powerful moment. It was more than just you get to go on to the next phase. He was like, no, they heard the other guys vouch for you that you had nothing to do with it. The colonel was like, no, why are we kicking her out? And they kept me in, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be more than just that. So that was and then come to find out when I got out, my old first sergeant at the academy, I don't know if somebody called him or did whatever, and he was like, "Look, that is the most upstanding woman. She doesn't drink, she doesn't smoke." He was like, "I promise you," and he told me the story because he knew one of the RIs.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if they called each other, whatever they did. But I was like, "Oh wow!" So that was a very powerful moment. And the guys came around. They're like, "Hey, we heard you didn't do it." I didn't want to hear none of that, but it was hard. Ranger school is not just a little physical. There was a lot of those moments in there where it's just wild. So that's why I'll say it will always be more than just Ranger school to me, because it wasn't just like do 60 days of this and you get your tab. I don't even care about the tab. The experience alone changed me as a person, and that was a very like God is real type of moment. It was like whatever people try to do, the truth will come out. And I know a lot of RIs probably weren't good with it because they want to believe whatever they want to believe and probably get this woman out because she doesn't belong, but flop that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was
Haters gonna hate.
and the ain't is gonna aim. That was a very that was not a fun experience, but that's just part of it. People till this day still might say whatever they want to say, but that was yeah, it was wild. It's in the book. That one was wild. It was wild. It was wild.
No, that's great. Nadege, you want to pull something out of the box?
Yeah. Well,
Okay, yeah. I gotta put. Let me get the box. Janina,
What's the box?
we didn't tell you about.
it's a, we didn't tell you about the box. So the box
Uh-huh.
is where it comes with questions. Well, I think
Okay.
Sean just got it,
Well,
so
the
I'll let him
team
explain.
they put random questions in here. It's a box,
Okay.
and it could have nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Okay.
It could be a
Say
current
less.
event. It could be a
Oh
deep
no, not the current. I
question.
stopped watching the news months ago. I can't take it anymore. It's all
It could be anything.
I'm
Nothing
right
toxic.
there.
political. Nothing political at all. I told them we can't.
Okay, praise
If
God,
it's
because
something
I.
political, we're gonna throw it out. Um. Oh, this one's good.
Ooh, look at her face. She's like, oh God.
This was good. And
Uh-huh.
here's the thing, Janina. We can all answer this question.
No, that I'm not worried about it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
She just told you I ain't scared.
I'm
I
a
ain't scared.
serious that question. All
Oh,
right.
if not, go do
If,
nails.
okay, so
Go do nails.
I'm gonna steal that one.
Me too.
If your team, so let's say any team, maybe it's
Uh-huh.
at Ranger School, maybe it was in your organization when you were.
Hmm.
If your team were completely honest, what would they say you need to work on most?
Ooh.
Hmm. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, what would I need to work on most? Oh, I think that could be. That's a hard one because there's so many phases of leadership
Yeah.
Yeah.
where I know what back then, you should have been, less of this or more of that. And that, by the way, is all in the book too. I'm very honest about those. Ooh, I love that question.
I
Um,
mean, you got to answer this too. So
I was looking at Sean like you. I think for me, my teams, and like now I'm in corporate America. I think
mhm,
what one thing that's always consistent is that like I can be a little too direct and that I lack empathy for
mm,
people.
mhm,
And I've had to, especially when you transition from military to
mhm,
corporate, I've
mhm,
had to work on myself to be like, how's your
mhm,
day? How was your
mhm. Yeah, yeah,
weekend?
yeah, yeah.
You suck at doing this, but have a good day. Well, like
Mhm.
that kind of thing. I think that's what my team would say. I need to work on a little bit more empathy.
I agree with them.
Yeah, yeah. My mom would agree too. My mom would be like, "Yeah, she could be that girl is cutthroat."
I I I'll go back to a time because I haven't had a team in a little bit because I went to school and I've been getting out. But I will go to, and it's this one's in the book. I was very honest. So we had a situation with a commander. She got relieved because whatever. And then we had a lieutenant as a commander and the XO. So probably very overwhelming. And I was not nice. I was very, you need to be not like me, but you need to lead like me, not knowing this lieutenant's been in for a few years and didn't even have that backbone like I did, but that's what I wanted. I wanted a commander to
Hmm.
be the commander and be like a strong woman like me, and she wasn't, and I was not nice. I wasn't supportive. And that is in the book because that bothered me. Because I went through a lot with the other commander getting relief. That's a whole nother thing. But instead of helping this lieutenant slash commander out more as the first sergeant, I was like, you need and I apologized later for it, and we became a great team. So I think that's one of those things is the reason I think I'm able to lead the way I'm very big on servant leadership. I am phenomenal with empathy. I can see from a mile away how people need to be, let's use the word loved. Like this person likes the direct, the ambition, the strong. This person's super. I can spot that from a mile away. I'm super good with that. But at that time, because what I was going through and what I was getting from the higher echelon from the battalion, I let that filter into that relationship, and I didn't like that. And it was out there. I wasn't even like, there was some soldiers, let's say, out in the outside of the compound, and you, as a leader, you never want soldiers to see what's going on inside. So that was one of those moments I could have definitely been better. Overall, I don't have a good question because I think as a sergeant, I could have done X, Y, and Z. As a staff, every echelon, I could have probably done something better right now. Without sounding like I'm this super soldier right now, I think I have a very good grasp on how to lead. Like I said, whoever the person is, whatever the situation is, I'm very quick on picking up where everybody is, what needs to be done, and I'm very big on servant leadership, meaning I'm not a micromanager. I love getting a task or a mission or whatever, like it's my responsibility, and I love dishing it back out as in, what do you think we should do? Because I know what I'm going to do.
Right.
But I'm very big on what I've seen, what works for leaders is I know the answer. And at the end of the day, we're probably going to do it my way. But still, I want to know how you feel. And I'm going to let you do it your way. Because if that way works, we're just going to let it work. Now, if you can't make it work, we're going to make it work because the mission's not going to fail. That has led me to a lot of success because a lot of leaders can't do that. This is my mission. We're going to do it like that. It's like, no. Just because they're subordinate or they have lesser rank doesn't mean they have phenomenal ideas. And if you allow people to do it their way and fail and you pick them back up, that it's so leadership. I tell people, because I don't know if there's like a million books on leadership, like research says leadership is so
complex.
No, it's so easy.
Really? You
Oh
think
my
it's easy?
God. No. The act of doing, not easy, but the concept of leadership is so easy. I truly, it's so easy. If it starts with, if you could do this, if you have people, know your people, and that's not, well, duh. No, you don't know your people. When you stop somebody and they're like, hey, Sergeant Major, good morning. Hey, good morning. How's your day been? How was your weekend? And they tell you, and you actually listen, and you actually ask about the dog who was in the hospital or the mom or the son, and you remember a name, and they told you, oh, my dog was in the hospital. And you come back on Monday and you say, how was your dog? Instant buy-in, instant. How many leaders do it? I'll wait. Haven't done it with me. I've seen them. Hey, how you doing? And walk by. That 5-minute conversation just changed. Oh man, Sergeant Major actually cares about me. Okay, cool. Like I'll work for her. Instant buy-in.
It's so funny because
the act of doing
would be
go ahead.
My reaction to that, I hate it when people ask, like, why do you want to know what I did on the weekend, Sergeant Major?
No. So I'm not saying like the intrusive, like I'm not saying that has to be the intrusiveness, but that act of, it could be an NCOER, because that's when you're going to care. It could be it could be something when you show that level of concern. Because a lot of leaders, what they do, they just brush it off like, oh, I don't care about that because it has nothing to do with me. I just want to get mine. So I'm not saying do barracks checks and now you're talking to them for 20 minutes and they just want to go play video games. Read their body language, let them go. But just have that availability to show concern for your people, and you'll get their buy-in. Because we're always so quick to, oh, such and such doesn't care, and then you don't want to work for them. So the act of doing is hard because now it takes time. Now you're going to come in my office, and the act of leadership is hard. I'm not saying the whole thing is easy, but the little things that a lot of people don't see. It's so I've never had any problems with it. And I mean, soldiers would jump off a cliff for me because I would jump with them. I always tell my people, I work for you. What do
Yeah.
you need? Oh, Sergeant Major, I want to get promoted. I want to go to this school. Boom, boom, boom. Roger that. Now I'm getting them to air assault. And they're like, oh, she actually got me in. So now anytime I need some, hey, Sergeant Major, what you need? You give me, I give. It's too easy. But a lot of leaders are like, you go do, go do, go do, go do,
Yeah.
because I need this, but they don't want to work for the
Give.
person. So servant leadership my entire time has been, I mean, that's the answer to the test for me, and from what I've seen good leaders do. And there's a fine line, of course, between likership and leadership, and that's a whole nother
Right.
podcast. But the act of, I think you have to care about your people first, like genuinely
Yeah.
care about them as humans, not just the soldier. Then that's already half the battle. I mean, I've seen it. It does wonders if you actually show some interest in these people. It takes time, takes a lot of hours and extra
Yeah.
hours. You're gonna have to listen to conversations that you probably don't care about. I'm just being honest, but that means a lot to them. And if you can get them like that, then all the other stuff's gonna happen. The mission's gonna happen. But when you get that buy-in from people, done.
If
Yeah.
not, go do nails.
Yeah.
Go do nails.
I know you have two dogs. I hear one. Which one is that? Can you?
Oh, that's Honey. So Honey is the younger one. She's 2. So dramatic. Bella, she's the older one. We just picked her up from the vet. I think she has like kidney disease.
Oh, okay.
It's devastating. Ugh,
Yeah.
I can't like one of like when you were talking about earlier. Like my dogs are my everything. Like I don't have kids. Um, if people don't have a dog, I don't think they'll ever understand. But like my dogs, like
Uh, yeah.
that would be the quickest way for me to get out of character. If something happens to my dogs or you do something to my dogs,
Yeah.
yeah. But Honey, yeah, she's being dramatic. I locked him in the room. But Bella, she's having some kidney issues, so she's more quiet and
Yeah.
old and just. I'm not looking forward to the day because we'll talk about resilience then. Then we'll talk about like all this stuff I'm talking about right now sounds good, but when it comes to my dogs,
Yeah.
my pups. But
Yeah.
that's life.
Yeah, I like your thoughts on leadership. I push back on. I think leadership is simple. It's simple, but it is hard.
Simple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's everything that you've highlighted. It's like, hey, you show up, you're genuine, you care,
Right.
you
Mm-hmm.
invest time. That's simple shit. But it's hard because you have to step outside of your priorities and you have to make other people's priorities
Right.
yours. So it's
Right.
just a hard concept for people to execute. Yeah, going back to the question, and I just want to be fair to answer it for myself. I think people who have served with me or worked with me would say that I don't have any empathy for work. Like I tend to undersell what they do. It is not intentional. It's almost like I see everything as easy. It's like, what are we talking about? That's a 3-foot wall. Get it done. Like just step over the wall. You've created this insurmountable task, but it's totally insurmountable. So people would say like, you don't get it. Like you're not.
I co-sign
okay.
that. I feel seen. Just
Okay. Oh, that is actually a good point. Oh, I like that. But I would push back on that because I think that when leaders when we get these tasks or these missions, what else would you want me to do? Like climb over the wall because you don't see who gave it to me. You're down
Yeah.
here and you think we don't do anything. Climb over the wall, get it done. And I think that's just a lack of, if you're a sergeant, you're not going to understand what the sergeant major deals with. But yes, to you, I agree. Like climb over the wall, go figure it out. We're not undermining the work it takes, but at the same time, like, you got to do what you got to do. So,
No, I feel you. I support. I'm just telling you what people
right.
would
No,
say.
and I get that. I get
don't
that.
agree with it. I'm still gonna tell them to fucking execute.
Right,
it,
right,
even
right.
though they're wrong.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Yeah.
That's good though. But the thing about leadership too, you know, I think the best leaders are able to self-reflect and they are able to say when
yeah.
they were wrong. I hate a leader that's just like with my lieutenant, I could have been like, wow. It's like, no, you're wrong. Say you're wrong and then you move on. A lot of leaders can't do that. And that is where a lot of friction happens. Like, I'm always right. I'm in charge. Just because you're in charge doesn't mean you're always right.
Nope.
And the best leaders are the one that say, "Ooh, you know what? I messed that up." But two, when you build these relationships with these little conversations and stuff, it's okay to say, "You know what? I really don't know that. Let's look it up, or let's go find out, or I'll go find out." Or it's just, I think the thing we get wrong with leadership is just it has to be this thing up here that's untouchable, this perfect person who doesn't have any flaws. It's like, no, bring yourself down a little bit, and then you can have these conversations with people. It's simple. It's like, you know what, I messed that up. I know, like, you don't have to say, but like, yeah, I know I'm a sergeant major, but you know what, I don't know that. But when you come back with the answer and you work through it, nobody's gonna be like, oh, sergeant major didn't know. Now, if you carry yourself in a way that's, like that lieutenant colonel on the
I was
street, then
just gonna
yes,
say that.
it's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, you read my mind. I think it's
So,
ego. I think,
mm-hmm,
power corrupts, but absolute power corrupts absolutely. That kind of concept that sometimes when, oh, I'm in charge, right? And I don't want to accept
right,
I'm wrong because of like what's been put on you. But a lot of it,
right.
it's ego. And like what you said, sometimes you have to humble yourself
Just
to be
humble
able to
yourself.
humble yourself. You don't know everything. You can't do everything
You
in a
don't.
unit, in a
Mm-hmm.
mission. You can't do everything.
Right,
That's why the army is
right.
like, we are a team of people to get a
Mm-hmm.
mission accomplished.
So
Mm-hmm.
Janina, Nadege and I were talking about this before you jumped on, and I'm interested in
Mm-hmm.
your thoughts on it because here's where I sit. Right,
Uh-huh.
this colonel, and I know we're not going to unpack everything because they're
Uh-huh.
still doing the investigation, but this colonel who lashed out at this sergeant first class in the street,
Mm-hmm.
the PT test, I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, this colonel culturally has been doing that for as long as he's been in the army. Like he's always been a tyrant. I don't think he was unstable. And Nadege was like, oh, he's unstable, blah blah. I'm like, no,
Nah.
he's not unstable. That's who he is. But here's what caused that scene. That sergeant first class bucked back. And he's never dealt with that before. That's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking. Like somebody actually tested what he was gonna say, and he was like, "Oh shit, I gotta really dive
Mm-hmm.
into this. I gotta
Mm-hmm.
about it because I've been doing this thing." And I think that is what we saw. I'm interested in what you're thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree. My issue, the video is the video. It was a situation. My thing is like, oh no, this man's been doing that forever and is doing it right now. Like in the meetings or whatever. If that's how you're lashing out in public in front of people as a lieutenant colonel, meaning you've been in
At least
12 to
18
16
years.
years, right? 12, 16, 18. That means you should be old enough to know, like, you know what, I need to pull back. Pick your battles wisely. I only had to pick my battle one time in 16 years. This is where you're going to lash out. So I agree with that. That's the bigger problem.
Yep.
That's what these people don't see. um and yes, that's actually a very good point. He probably is like, get off the road. And he's dealing with something is going on in his personal life. Maybe he got something, heard something from his hires, from a general, something. This man was not in a good mood, and or he's just very like that, like always triggered.
That's
Or
why I said he was
because,
unstable.
like, why, it's the road is closed, no cars are coming back and forth, like the road is closed. So yeah, the sergeant first class and bucking back was like, who
Excuse
are
me?
you talking to? I'm a lieutenant colonel.
Right.
So that set him off
It
because
wasn't
a
about the
lot
road.
of it was not about the road. A lot of these senior
Mm,
officers and enlisted, they are so in love with their rank. So there's
yeah.
no way you're talking to me crazy. You know what I'm saying? But like I said earlier, what you give is what you get. If that was me, I probably would have been around my, so this was probably the first time he's around them. So they already don't. But if that's a leader who's always been there, and if you were really worried about the safety, you would have walked over there and said, hey, they need to move for whatever reason, which I still don't understand. That's
Mm-hmm.
one. Two, like I said yesterday, you would have been on the side, like, all right, who else is coming through? Like, y'all, like, because you're never around. So this would be the perfect opportunity to be present
Yep.
in your formation, because that's still your people, and show them a different side of you as a lieutenant colonel. Simple, so easy. But no, you chose the road of hold me back. What were you gonna do? What really were you gonna do?
That's what
Stop.
I want to know. For
Stop.
roads that's
And if
closed
you're
every
doing that,
day.
if you're doing that for a closed road, my God, I do not want to be in that formation. Like,
Mm-mm.
I think, because I was high on the, who knows if I would have been that man's sergeant major. That sounds like an exhausting time.
Yeah.
What's unfortunate is, one, I feel bad for those soldiers. Two, that's how a lot of leaders are. They get rank, they're in charge, and they feel like that shows this, ooh, look at me, I'm in charge. Stop. Like, that is not good leadership. And if the problem is that he doesn't know that, like, that's the, no, I'm being so, like, so,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
how do you not see that that was the problem?
Yeah.
And was that worth losing everything you've worked for? Like the closed road and the girl like being in the way of what we don't know set you off that bad. How do you handle crises? I had a leader, could not stand him. He was he was he was not a good leader. He wasn't loud. He wasn't crazy like that, but he had a way of making everybody walk on eggshell. I did not like him, but I learned from him. And what he showed me is when there's a crisis, how to remain. I've never seen anything like it. Like we had a soldier, we were going to the field or something. I mean, he smacked the fence. It was bad. Like there was just so much commotion, and it was our unit, and we had to bring it to him. And I'm thinking, I'm about to get fired. I'm about to get cursed out. I'm thinking everything that I've seen before. And he got the news. He's like, okay, all right, what are we gonna do? Like, and I was just like, and that's how he was. And I admired that.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
admired that with him. So but if you're acting like that way with a closed road, how are
Mm-mm.
you going to be when bullets are flying, when
Yeah.
when there's actual danger and there's crises and you're supposed to be the calm one? Because when the leader's calm, the soldiers are going to be calm. Like when you tell everybody, hey, chill out, this is not that bad, and it's really bad, but you're calm, they'll be like, oh well, Sergeant Major's not, that's fine. But
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you're acting like that because of a closed road, I do not want to be in your formation, period.
You said something that I wanted to highlight because I left active duty 3 years ago, and then you're like, sometimes people get married so much to their rank that they forget there's going to be a day when you're going to have to leave the army, and nobody is going to care that you were
They
Ranger
do
so
not
and
care.
so, that you were Colonel
Hmm.
so and so, that you were General, because out in
Hmm.
the real world, it's like, what is a
They don't
general? What
care.
is a lieutenant
Hmm.
colonel? They don't
Exactly.
care. But your
Hmm.
character matters, and that's something that we talk about at West Point, right? Your character will matter. And to your
Hmm.
point, that if you're acting like that out of character for a closed road
Right.
that's closed every day for PT hours on that side of post, then
Right.
you got some reflection to do.
That's why, no, but a lot of people, I've been getting so many messages about retirement, about, don't let yourself, just all these things I'm supposed to be doing. And it's just like a lot of people cannot let it go. Because
Mm-hmm.
there's so, and I know a lot of people, they're struggling, they're drinking because this rank, that's just who they were. They were used to people like, standing like doing all these things. And it's like, I get it, like you earned it, but who is behind the uniform? You're not gonna wear it forever. It is who you are, your character. I haven't thought about one, I haven't thought about the army, but I have zero struggles because I never wore the uniform. I don't care. I do not care. I don't care about the parade rest. I don't care about calling me a I don't care because I was always a people's person. I always treated people how would want to be treated, how I would want my kids to be treated. Then all of this goes out the window. I think too that's why I was so successful because I talked to the private the same way I would talk to the general. Like
Right.
when they see a private come and they're like, "Arr, arr, arr, arr," but then the general, hey sir, like stop. So now
Yeah.
you're fake. So now you're
Mhm.
fake. Because
Yeah.
I can't stand it. The same way I talk to that person is the same way I'm gonna talk to a private. That's just why would I switch up? Like the only difference between a private and a general, the private just started and the general's been in 30 years. Give this private 30 years, they might be further than that general. So
Right.
give them some grace. So yeah, a lot of people struggle with that. They can't take off the uniform because when they do, when they go in Walmart and nobody's like at ease, they're like, oh, nobody cares. But then you have to ask
I feel
yourself,
triggered. Ooh.
but what are you establishing outside that realm? Like, what else do you got going on? And that's where a lot of people struggle. And I haven't because I do a lot of things on the outside and I don't have that. Like, I can go to Cocodona and just make friends with I met so many people and they love me because I'm a people person. Like, I have those skills. But a lot of people, I don't need to be in charge. The best feeling about getting out was not being in charge anymore. Not that I can. I was great being in charge, but I don't always want to be in charge. Like,
Right.
can I not be, why do I always have to be in charge? But some people, they have to be in charge. It has to be my way. And then again, that comes with that self-reflection, like figure out because that's not going to be a fun life. Like you're literally going
No.
to be retired now. maybe work a job where you're not the CEO or initially, and you're going to struggle a lot. Like that's when you have to confront like who you are, what your values are. So I would recommend to anybody do that prior to getting out the military, and or while you're in, figure it out. Like figure out who you are. What does the uniform mean to you? Or what does it make you do? Or does it make you feel different? Or does it do anything? Those are the questions you need to ask prior to you getting out, because it could be a rude awakening. But for me, it was like, I'm glad I don't have to wear it anymore. Now I can just wear
Yeah.
sweats.
I was listening to your friend. I forget her name, but
Mm-hmm.
you're always with her. What's her name? She has a
Toya?
may, may,
Latoya Green?
maybe she has.
Mm-hmm.
She's fitness. She's into fitness as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah.
Toya. I only got one friend, so it
Okay.
has to be her.
She said,
Yeah, I
I
was
I
only
only
listening
got,
to
got one friend.
I
I'm a
only got
boring
one
person, she said.
friend.
there.
That's it.
I follow her as well. I like her
Mm-hmm.
content, and
Mm-hmm.
she released this video, and she was talking to transitioning service members, and
Yep, that's her. Yep.
she was saying something along the lines of, I just want to tell all you senior people getting out that nobody cares about
They
you,
don't.
buddy. And I sent it. I used to be an aide de camp to a 3-star, and he's
Mm-hmm.
currently going through the transition.
Mm-hmm.
And I sent it to him.
Oh,
He
that's so
gave me the
funny.
he gave me the thumbs up. But it was like, hey, sir, I want to hear your thoughts on this. And
Mm-hmm.
he's not like that at all. He's not wearing his ring. He never
Yeah,
did.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it's
Mm-hmm.
still like, hey, don't forget that you might go through this transition, and you
Right.
have everyone, sir, and
You're gonna be a
Yep,
peasant
yep.
like the rest of us.
yeah, it could
Period.
impact when that doesn't happen at all. So just wanted to give him that perspective. But that was a good video. For shout out to Toya for releasing that content.
I mean, she's been retired for a while. She's very invested in that, because we see that all the time, and a lot of people can't talk about it. Like we did do some social media while we're in, but we didn't say half the stuff that we really wanted to say because we're aware of rank and all that. But yeah, it's a fact. No, nobody. I hate when you go somewhere. It's like, oh, I used to be a retired, and that's cool to know, but don't hang your head on that. We do not care. We don't work for you because you used to be a retired general. Now what? I used to be a retired sergeant major. Now what? Like now what? Like what? I don't
What's
still don't have to
next?
answer to what's like now what? Like what are you gonna put me back there, make me stand in it? So if you lead with that, or if that's how your speaking starts, like yeah, you used to do that, but what do you do now? Like, what can you do for me now? Like, I'm glad you have that experience, but I'm not going to lead with, oh, I used to. Yeah, if you ask me, I'm going to tell you. So I have oh, she used to be a sergeant. Cool. But we're not going to keep talking about that. Oh, when no, like, what are you doing now? So, a lot of people, they can't hack it. They just
Well, you said it
put,
earlier. The army didn't make you who you are. The army
oh,
unlocked
no,
Janina, right? The army is
period.
a tool to unlock
100%.
potential in people not to. And I think a lot of people get it twisted because they're
Right.
like, the army made me. The army
And I used to be
unlocked
like that.
you.
I used to, because when people retire, oh, the army, and man, through the army, I got confidence and resilience. And I thought about it because I was making my retirement speech. I was like, the army didn't give me anything. And I don't mean that like in a negative way where I'm not grateful. I am grateful for this chapter, but the army didn't give me anything. Hell, y'all were trying to take everything, but the army gave me the platform to get out who I already was. And I think it took the army to do that. Like I said, an organization like this, you're not gonna. I don't know if I would have went to Apple if it would have been the same,
Right,
but the
right.
army didn't give me anything. I earned
Yeah,
everything,
you still
and
had to
we
put
can
in work. Yeah,
100%. Like the army tried to break me like every chance it got, and I didn't. So I earned that though.
yeah.
So
No,
yeah,
that's
I don't know. They're gonna be struggling, but they'll be fine. Just
Or they
yeah.
could go do
they'll be fine.
nails.
They
There's
can
no.
just go do nails. I'm telling you, just go do nails.
Well, Janina, look, we're coming up on our final 5 minutes here,
Uh
and
huh.
we ask all of our guests this question. And you shared a lot of lessons. You've already shared a lot of
Hmm.
lessons, and if there's any more out there, we're going to ask you in this final moment. What is the eternal lesson for you? Like, what is the lesson that you carry with you everywhere you go, and it speaks to you? You want, everyone to understand it and know it, just to give them a better way of dealing with life.
Yeah. So the eternal lesson from everything I've experienced, from all the podcasts, from the self reflection, everything that I do, is that it is about people. I'm not saying don't try to make money and all these things that we want. I'm not mad at that. But at the end of the day, if you're not pouring out into people, then you're not living life how it's supposed to be. I don't care if you do nails. I don't care if you're a soldier. I don't care if you're at McDonald's. I don't care if you're the Walmart greeter. It is about people. And however
Yeah.
you give back, if your purpose in life, if you figured it out, I hope you figured out. If you haven't, if it is not tied to doing something for somebody, it's not your purpose or it is not the right thing. If it is just to be the CEO, just to get money, then you're not right. But if it's to be the CEO so you can take care of those people because you saw how the other CEO didn't take care of them, that's a good purpose. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
anytime you can do something for somebody without the first thing being, what do I get in return? Like, hey, if I go on this podcast of Eternal Lessons and I don't know how many subscribers, whatever you have, but if I don't get 50 followers, 50 million followers out of this, or if it doesn't get 1,000 views, I don't want to do it. That's not the purpose. The purpose is to give back. There might be maybe 10 people might watch this podcast and one person is going to get the lesson. And that one person is going to go do whatever and just get this epiphany for life. That was the purpose. That was my goal for coming on this podcast. Maybe one leader out there saw this and is like that lieutenant colonel, like, I got to change. Then that's the eternal lesson. It is not, like I say with my cancer, I truly believe it is not for me. It is not for me. It is so I can reach a different demographic now, which is the cancer population. So I can now, because now is Ranger Simmons, who is just the superwoman. I can't relate to her because I have cancer. Oh, now you can relate. So everything that we go through is so that we can help somebody else go through something. The reason you're going through something is so you can learn how to go through it so you can help somebody else through it. And I
Love that.
truly believe that. So if you're doing something and it doesn't involve other people, you're not living right. Now, I'm not saying give all your money away and that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But when you can live in a way that just helps people, and I found it so gratifying. People think a lot of us do social media because we just want likes and stuff. I was doing the same thing 15 years ago. The reason I love it is because I get messages like, oh, you helped me run, you helped me lose weight, you helped me become a better leader, you help me. And that's not, so I get a pat on the back that's like, okay, cool, like that message helped, and I'm gonna keep doing my little messages. So help people, whatever that looks like in what you do. It can be running, it can be lifting, it can be speaking, it can be doing nails, whatever that is. Keep doing that and give back. That is definitely my eternal lesson.
Heck yeah.
For sure.
I love that.
Yeah. Thank you again so much, Janina, for blessing us with your presence.
Thank you.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Got a lot out of it, and I am excited to see how many lives we can impact with this episode. Even if
for sure, I hope so. Yeah. Even if it's 10 is a good number. 1 is a good number. 1 will always be a good number. People don't like it. They're in the million. 1 is a good number. If you can change one life, because think about it, I was the one life. Somebody helped me just change my life, and now I'm impacting. You never know what somebody's going to be or who they're going to impact. So we have to be cognizant of that. The people with 1 million followers aren't the ones that like matter. Like the one with 100 followers matters as well. So we need to stop getting hung up on those things. But I appreciate y'all for having me. If y'all ever need anything, just holla at me. So
yeah. We'll see you when your book comes out. I'll hit you up.
Yes, you will. I will definitely. I would love a review and see how y'all like it.
Oh yeah.
I would love. Yeah.